Everyone was transported into a game world. Right from the start, I gained the unique hidden talent, Eternal Power. I could make all allied units in my territory turn any temporary boost they received into a permanent boost. I froze for a second, then cried out in shock. One support skill could give a permanent buff. It was practically a cheat. But what excited me even more was that this frozen survival world was actually from a game I had played before. With my experience in the game, I could definitely get ahead in this new era and rise fast. I could change my fate. The next second, a woman suddenly appeared beside me. It was Liu Mushui, my late boss's fiancée and my future sister-in-law. At the same time, the system announced that family survival mode was about to begin. In the new version, families would be the basic unit. Each group could have up to 4 people. Anyone without relatives would be randomly assigned to people nearby. I understood right away. In my previous life, I had been about to drive over to pick up my sister-in-law for my boss's funeral. Then the game happened to invade reality, so the two of us ended up on the same team. Before long, my attention was drawn to the class selection panel in front of me. Players could currently choose from 5 classes: Frost Iron Mechanic, Polar Warrior, Frost Mage, Aurora Knight, and Snow Hunter. With my game experience, I knew the strongest one was Frost Iron Mechanic. But Frost Iron Mechanic was a late-game class, and its early combat power was pretty weak. Polar Warrior and Snow Hunter were both solid early on, but they fell off in the late game. As for the remaining Frost Mage and Aurora Knight was a support class, usually meant to work with teammates. Frost Mage, on the other hand, performed well in both the early and late game, so I chose Frost Mage without hesitation. Congratulations, you have successfully selected your class. Frost Mage Elemental Affinity has been unlocked. Old resistance slightly increased. Starting equipment has been placed in your storage chest. At the same time, the system announced that nightfall would arrive in 4 hours and 32 minutes. Also, during the beginner protection period, no monsters would attack the camp. Beginner protection remaining, 5 days and 17 hours. Seeing this, my brows furrowed. Current temperature was already minus 32 degrees. At night, it would drop another 20 degrees. To withstand the bitter cold, we mainly had to rely on the campfire and the Lord's cabin. The campfire was currently level 1 and could raise the temperature within a 10-meter radius by 5 to 20 degrees. That was still enough for now. As for the damaged Lord's cabin, it still needed stone and wood before it could be repaired. Luckily, there was a pile of white stones and cut timber near the campfire. I was just about to gather them when Liu Mushui, standing nearby, finally finished processing the system messages and spoke. Cao Xing, that voice told me to choose a class. Which one should I pick? Sister-in-law, choose Aurora Knight. I had my own reasons for making that suggestion. In the later stages, Aurora Knights get a lot of powerful buff skills. Their effects are short-lived, but with my Eternal Power talent, I can make those buffs permanent. Just imagine how terrifying a group of troops stacked with permanent buffs would be. Liu Mushui didn't question my decision. In this unfamiliar world, I was the only person she knew. Then, I opened the starter supply chest. After getting bread, a stone axe, a stone hammer, and other starter supplies, I immediately gathered materials and started repairing the damaged Lord's cabin. During that time, Liu Mushui wanted to help too, so I had her gather materials to upgrade the campfire. Soon, the campfire was upgraded to level 2. Its warmth now reached a 20-meter radius. At the same time, the Lord's cabin was completed. System prompt, territory interface unlocked. Congratulations, you can now build more basic facilities. System prompt. As the first survivor on the server to build a Lord's cabin, you received a reward, skill book, Ice Healing. Ice Healing consumes a certain amount of mental power, restoring HP equal to the target's spirit, multiplied by 0.8 each second. The effect lasts 3 seconds. When I saw it, I knew skill books weren't easy to come by. This was an unexpected bonus. Then I opened my personal panel again. In the building interface, I chose to build a Polar Dweller hut. The Polar Dweller hut can consume food to summon polar dwellers to work for you. It can house 4 people. Repair time, 45 minutes. More people can be assigned to repairs to speed up the process. Based on my gaming experience, the best first building choice was to build the Polar Dweller hut first. So I called Liu Mushui over to help. Soon, the Polar Dweller hut was repaired. At the same time, a system prompt appeared. You are the first survivor on the server to build a Polar Dweller hut. Reward received, 50 pieces of bread. I was thrilled. Recruiting 1 Polar Dweller costs 5 food. With this reward, I could recruit the full 4 Polar Dwellers right away, without any trouble. Also, although the Polar Dwellers had names of their own, for convenience, I renamed them Dazhuang, Zhuang, Sanzhuang, and Xizhuang. I checked the building panel again. At this point, I could still build facilities like an indoor stove, a cooking range, a lumber yard, a sewing shop, and more. But all of them required a lot of resources. So I had Dazhuang and Zhuang chop trees for wood, while Sanzhuang and Xizhuang mined stone. As for Liu Mushui and me, after we used our existing materials to upgrade the campfire to level 3, we went inside and built a hearth and some simple furniture. Once all that was done, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and opened the chat panel. I tapped into the world channel. Almost everyone was complaining about how lost they felt in this new world. I thought to myself, looks like besides me, no one else had played this game before. Just then, Zhuang's voice suddenly came from outside the camp. When he saw me, Zhuang quickly said, "My lord, there's a huge snake in the woods outside the camp. Zhuang was bitten. He's barely hanging on." I quickly opened Zhuang's status panel. I saw that his health had dropped by half, and he had a poison status too. But I breathed a sigh of relief. Level 1 poison could be cured with Liu Mushue's purification spell. Then Liu Mushue murmured, "May the holy Aurora bless you." In an instant, Zhuang's poison was cured. At the same time, I cast Ice Healing. Green +2 numbers kept floating above Zhuang's head. The system also notified me that Ice Healing had been cast successfully. Talent, Eternal Power, has taken effect. This skill has become permanent. I was stunned. I never expected Ice Healing to become a permanent buff too. But then I immediately got excited. That meant Zhuang was now a frontliner with endless healing. He was practically invincible. Feeling the power inside him, Zhuang immediately said respectfully, "Thank you, my lord. Your power is truly vast and magnificent." Then the system notified me that Zhuang's loyalty had risen from 70 to 80. I wondered if Ice Healing could work the same way on Liu Mushue and me. So I cast Ice Healing on Liu Mushue. Sure enough, the system notified me again. Ice Healing has become permanent. Liu Mushue and I were both stunned. This ability was ridiculously powerful. Then I planned to cast it on myself too. A wave of dizziness suddenly hit me. I realized my mental power had reached its limit, but it didn't matter. I simply led Zhuang and the others, with his endless healing, to deal with that huge snake first. When we arrived, venomous snake's information appeared before my eyes. It was a level 2 monster. No wonder Zhuang and the others couldn't beat it earlier. Now, with endlessly healing Zhuang holding the front line, we killed it in no time. Snowfield venomous snake successfully slain. You gained 30 experience points. Congratulations, you are the first creature in this region to kill a wild monster. First kill reward received. Serpent Priest recruitment scroll. Summons a level 5 Serpent Priest to help in battle. Seeing that, I was thrilled and used it right away. Then a beautiful serpent woman instantly appeared in front of me. "Honored Lord, Elena, priestess of the Serpent Clan, is at your service." I checked Elena's stats, and my expression shifted again. Elena actually had 2 buff skills. Scale Armor can briefly give you or an ally an extra 10 armor. Serpent Frenzy gives you or an allied unit the Frenzy effect. For 60 seconds, movement speed and attack speed both increase by 20%. And as long as it's a buff, it can become permanent with my Eternal Power. I immediately had Elena use both skills on all of us. In an instant, everyone, including me, gained the permanently stacked effects of both skills. I also gave Elena a permanent Ice Healing spell. Feeling that power, Elena was just as shocked and couldn't help exclaiming, "My lord, your power is truly vast and unfathomable." I nodded in satisfaction, then dismantled the Snowfield venomous snake's corpse. I got a venom sac that could add poison attacks to a weapon, along with 17 pieces of snake meat. When Zhuang and Zhuang saw the snake meat, their eyes instantly lit up. I haven't eaten meat in ages. If someone let me eat even one piece of meat, I'd give my life for them. I smiled and said, "As long as you work hard, we can all have snake soup tonight." After we returned to camp, Sanjuang reported to me, "My lord, we found a small coal mine not far from the quarry. The 2 snow wolves were guarding it, so I didn't dare get close enough to take a careful look. When I heard there was a coal mine, my eyes instantly lit up. Coal is a higher grade fuel than wood. With coal for heating, we could save wood to build other facilities." Then I asked how strong the snow wolves were. Sanjuang said they were probably a little stronger than the Snowfield venomous snake. I nodded. That meant they were probably level 3 or 4 monsters. Now that I had level 5 Elena, we were just strong enough to take them on. I said Sanjuang and Sijuang had done well, and I would give them extra meat tonight. Then, I immediately led the others toward the mine. When we got near the mine, its information appeared before my eyes. At the same time, I saw the 2 snow wolves. The panel showed that they were indeed level 3 wild monsters, but everyone on my side had unlimited healing and incredible defense. On top of that, with Elena there, the fight had barely begun, before your territory member Elena killed a snow wolf, gained 40 experience points, and ended with a system notification saying you gained 20 experience points. I dismantled the 2 snow wolf corpses again. To my surprise, this time we got another huge drop. Not only did we get 2 green wolf pelts, but also 134 portions of wolf meat, as well as materials like wolf bones and wolf fangs. Most importantly, another blue summon scroll dropped, called Twin Wolf Knight. Twin Wolf Knight Summon Scroll can instantly summon a powerful level 10 Twin Wolf Knight. But before using it, make sure you have enough food. I had just summoned level 5 Elena, and now here came a level 10 Twin Wolf Knight. All I could say was, we were taking off. The wolf pelts were exactly the material needed to make cold weather clothing. That solved the urgent problem Liu Mushui and I were facing. I immediately draped a wolf pelt over Liu Mushui, who was shivering from the cold. Liu Mushui instantly looked at me with gratitude. I smiled, then started claiming the mine in front of me. The moment the claim succeeded, the system notified me that I had also received a bronze chest. At the same time, the system voice rang out again. Since you are the first survivor on the server to claim a resource point, you have received a reward, purple equipment, ancient weapon Barrett, along with 10 rounds of 12.7mm ammunition. I was stunned. It was actually a Barrett. Did I hear that right? Ancient weapon Barrett. Attack power, 967 to 993. Attack interval, once every 2 seconds. Special effect 1. Armor piercing. Attacks have a 50% chance to ignore 100 points of enemy armor. Special effect 2. Headshot. Attacks to the head deal 50% extra damage. I was shocked. With over 900 attack power, it was practically unstoppable in the early game. Nothing could stand in its way, although it only had 10 bullets. Once the territory reached level 4, we could unlock the bullet processing factory. Then bullets would no longer be a problem. After putting away the Barrett, I walked back into the mine. After claiming the mine, the system told me there was still a bronze chest inside. The moment I opened the chest, I got a pile of supplies and a market blueprint. Once built, it would allow resource trading with other survivors. Then I checked the remaining items. I could use the staff. The snow boots were cold-resistant gear, so their value was obvious. There was also a medical kit that could treat typhoid fever and colds, which was good too. After confirming there was nothing else nearby, I dismantled the bronze chest. I obtained 5 copper. Then I went outside the mine. Liu Mushui told me they had gathered 112 pieces of coal nearby. That would last us a long time. I smiled and looked at Liu Mushui, who was shivering from the cold. Then I handed her the snow boots. Liu Mushui looked grateful. Her legs were so frozen that even changing shoes was difficult, so I just put them on for her. Then I carried her back to the territory in my arms. Liu Mushui blushed the whole way, but she didn't say anything. After we returned to the territory, I checked our resources first. Then I told Da Zhuang and Zhuang to build the lumberyard, while San Zhuang built the market. Si Zhuang was assigned to build a small shelter for Elena to live in. Once all that was done, everyone could rest and eat. Then Liu Mushui and I went to the Lord's cabin. I had Liu Mushui rest for a while first, while I built a simple stove. Then I started cooking the snake meat I got during the day. It was getting dark outside, and the temperature was dropping fast. The outdoor temperature had reached an unbelievable -50°C. Even indoors, with the furnace lit, it was only -16°C. Luckily, Da Zhuang and the others finished the construction in time and came back to the Lord's cabin. I told Da Zhuang and the others I was very satisfied with their work today. As a reward, they could help themselves to this pot of snake soup. When they saw it was actually meat, Da Zhuang and the others were thrilled. As they ate, they swore they would work hard to repay their lord. At the same time, their favorability shot up, with all of them rising above 80. I then looked at Elena, whose hunger was at 50. I asked her whether she wanted raw meat or cooked meat. Raw meat, respected lord. I nodded, took out 2 pieces of snake meat, and was about to hand them to Elena. But after thinking about it, I put them back. I switched them out for 2 pieces of wolf meat and handed those over. Elena's favorability rose right away, but her hunger only went up by 10 points, reaching just 60. I frowned. If she went too long without being full, her loyalty would drop. Besides, Elena was my main fighting force, so she was still very useful. So I simply took out 4 more pieces and raised her hunger to 80. Still, Elena's huge appetite made me sigh. And I still had an even stronger recruitment scroll. Twin Wolf Knights. I couldn't help thinking, looks like I'll need to find ways to gather more food starting tomorrow. Since it was nighttime, we couldn't work or go out exploring. So I opened the world chat to see how the other survivors were doing. But things weren't looking good. There were quite a few death notices and announcements about survivors. Some players were also sharing tips, like building the Lord's cabin first and upgrading the campfire. There was also the fact that you were invincible inside your territory and could use it to avoid monster attacks. After thinking it over, I also wrote that the lowest nighttime temperature would drop to -60°C. If there wasn't enough time to build a Lord's cabin, people could use planks and stones to make a simple shelter, which could barely get them through the first night's cold. Then I went to the regional channel. According to the system description, this was a square area measuring 500 kilometers on each side. You could also see that the current region was called Region 174, and the number of people online was 38224/40173. As for the messages, I found that most people were from cities near my original world. It seemed the transmigration had randomly grouped people from several neighboring cities together. Then there were all kinds of requests for help, shared tips, and trade listings. I also went to the market, planning to trade for some supplies. One listing instantly caught my eye. A mage skill book for ice armor. Ice armor could raise an ally's armor for a set amount of time. Its base mental energy cost was pretty high, so it was a pretty awkward skill. But for me, as long as I paired it with eternal power, I could make the shield last forever. It It was practically a god-tier skill. The only problem was the asking price, 50 food. That was way too high. The seller said the price was negotiable. I decided to message them privately and ask about it. Will you trade the ice armor skill book for 10 food? I said you could bargain, not rob me blind. You want a skill book for just 10 food? Why don't you just steal it? I know you're in a hurry, but calm down for a second. What if I said this isn't ordinary food, but meat? What? You got meat this fast? I sent over the item details. The person replied right away. At least 40 food, meaning 8 pieces of snake meat. Otherwise, forget it. I sneered. 3 pieces of snake meat, max. Besides, ice armor is only an early game skill, and its drop rate isn't that low. After tomorrow, you won't be able to trade it for food even if you want to. After hearing that, the person hesitated for a moment. Fine, 3 pieces of snake meat it is. If I ration it, it'll be enough for my family to get through one more day. Seeing that, my eyes shifted slightly. How about this? Change it to 20 food, and I'll throw in 5 more loaves of bread. The other party readily agreed, and I successfully got the ice armor skill book. Consumes a certain amount of mental energy. Increases your own or an ally's armor by mental strength times 0.6. Duration, 30 seconds. The current mental strength was 8, so it could add 5 armor. Then, the next second, as the prompt showed ice armor had been cast successfully, the system prompted again that my talent, eternal power, had taken effect, making the skill permanent. Armor permanently increased by 5. I was thrilled. My armor had now reached 15 points. Attacks from monsters below level 3 couldn't even damage me anymore. After that, I also cast ice armor on Liu Mushui. Meanwhile, Liu Mushui learned about the other survivors' situation through the chat channel. Only now did she understand that not everyone was like her, already living in a warm lord's cabin. Then she said, "Thank you, Cao Xing. If it weren't for you, I might have frozen to death outside." It's fine, sister-in-law. Since the two of us were assigned to the same team, we need to work together. That way, we can survive better in this world. Helping you helps me too. I'll adapt to this world as quickly as I can and won't hold you back. Then I said goodnight. The two of us went our separate ways and got ready to sleep. Just then, someone suddenly sent Liu Mushui a friend request. It was Liu Mushui's mother. Then came a video call request. Liu Mushui hesitated for a moment, then accepted it. She heard her mother, Bi Yunlan, ask right away, "Liu Mushui, do you have any extra food over there you can spare us? You have no idea how awful things have been for me, your 2 brothers, and your father. There was barely any food in that crate. Not even enough for Dabao and Xiaobao to eat one meal." After listening for a long while, Liu Mushui gave a faint, bitter smile. Sure enough, just like on Blue Star, her parents still didn't care whether she lived or died. They came straight to her asking for food. Thinking back to when she was on Blue Star, her parents had even forced her to marry some so-called gang boss. Fortunately, before she married him, that gang boss died. Then she came to this other world and finally escaped that nightmare of a family. So she said she didn't have any extra food either. But then Liu Mushui's father questioned her. "Liu Mushui, are you lying to us? You're already living in a house, and you're still saying you don't have food? And where did you get that fur you're wearing?" Then a child's voice came from the side. Dad, the fur Sis is wearing is wolf hide. Sis has already killed a wolf. Sis has meat over there." "Well, aren't you something? How dare you lie to me? You have meat and won't share it with your family? You ungrateful girl. I raised you all these years for nothing." Faced with her family's accusations, Liu Mushui's eyes filled with tears. For a moment, she seemed completely at a loss. Liu's father only got harsher. "Now you're acting like you're the one who's been wronged? We've been hungry all day, and we haven't even complained, Liu Mushui. Looks like you really think you can defy us now." Just then, I suddenly appeared beside Liu Mushui. "What are you 2 old fools screeching about over there? Who are you? I'm talking to my daughter. What right do you have to butt in? You don't need to know who I am. As for what right I have, I'm the one who killed the wolf. Meat is mine too. If you want it, keep dreaming. I wouldn't give you so much as a breadcrumb. You have hands and feet of your own. Don't you know how to get food yourself? You came here to bleed your daughter dry. Have you no shame?" Then I gave them a thorough tongue lashing. Right after that, I signaled Liu Mushui to hang up the video call. The world went quiet all at once. Liu Mushui lost her composure, barely able to keep her emotions in check. But she still said to me, "Ah, Cao Xing, thank you for helping me out. It's okay, sis-in-law. Those people want something for nothing. There's no way they're taking supplies from me. You need to remember this too. No matter who asks you for food or other resources, you can't give them anything. Once you give in the first time, there'll be a second time. After that, they'll never stop asking for more. You understand?" Liu Mushui knew. After coming to this world, heaven had already given her a chance to break free from her original family and start over. So she nodded solemnly and said, "I will, Cao Xing." Then, suddenly remembering something, Liu Mushui went over to the stove. She brought over a small bucket of hot water and said to me, "Cao Xing, your feet look a little red from the cold. Let me wash your feet with hot water." Meanwhile, Liu's father and mother were fuming. Liu's father suddenly thought back and realized the man looked familiar. After thinking it over for a while, Liu's father finally recognized him. Back when they forced Lu Mushui to marry Chen Jiang, a gang boss, that kid was one of Chen Jiang's drivers, specifically assigned to drive Lu Mushui around. Once he found out the man was just a driver, Liu's father gave a cold smile and came up with a plan. He had just seen on the screen that Fang Long of the Sanying Society from the old city was gathering his men, and Fang Long had once been one of Lu Mushui's obsessive suitors. He could contact Fang Long for help, then use the chance to get rid of him. Time moved on to the next day. Attention, all survivors. You have made it through the beginner protection period on your first night in the Frozen Era. 4 days and 22 hours remained. I checked the chat channel and saw that the number of people online had dropped by more than another 1,000. I didn't dwell on it. Instead, I had Da Zhuang and the others keep upgrading the polar dweller huts and building other structures. Then I took out the Twin Wolf Knight summoning scroll and used it. In an instant, a knight riding a huge warwolf appeared in front of me. Twin Wolf Knight Assam, at your service. I checked Assam's stats. I found that besides Assam, his wolf was also level 10. This summon was actually a 2-for-1 deal. What a huge win. I nodded. I then gave Assam ice armor and ice healing, along with scale armor and Naga Berserk, for a total of 4 permanent buffs. Assam was instantly stunned. You are the lord with the greatest power I have ever seen. Assam is willing to offer you his loyalty. You helped territory member Assam increase his strength. Loyalty has increased. Current loyalty, 80. I smiled with satisfaction. The power of eternity really was useful. Then I told Assam his first assignment was a scouting mission. He was to head northeast of the camp and mark any resource points or wild creatures he found along the way. Once he had explored 10 kilometers out, he was to come back and report to me. I will obey your command, my lord. At the same time, the polar dweller hut had reached level 2, so I could summon 8 polar dwellers now. After spending more food to summon additional polar dwellers, I named them Wu Zhuang, Liu Zhuang, Qi Zhuang, and Ba Zhuang. Then I assigned them to gather stone and wood and help with construction. After that, I brought Liu Mushui to the market, planning to sell off some supplies. I planned to trade them for other useful items. First, I listed the wolf meat and would only accept equipment, weapons, or skill books in exchange. The moment the meat appeared, the other survivors went into a frenzy. Countless people messaged me privately, but most of them wanted to trade other territory supplies. Things like wood, stone, and small amounts of iron. I kindly reminded them that basic supplies were the foundation of survival. They shouldn't give them up so easily. Some survivors took my advice and gave up on the trade, but others insisted. Their reasoning was that they were about to starve, so who had time to think about future development? I didn't refuse them, but my stockpile of wolf meat was limited, so I didn't plan to take ordinary stone or wood. Iron, though, was something I could trade for first. Then I could get the blacksmith shop built. The blacksmith shop could make simple equipment, like stone spears and stone axes. Other equipment would require blueprints. But right now, the survivors had too little iron, 2 or 3 pieces at most. Trading 1 piece of wolf meat for 2 pieces of iron would definitely be a loss. So I asked the system if the wolf meat could be divided into smaller portions. System prompt. 1 piece of wolf meat weighs 1,000 grams. It can be divided into up to 10 small pieces of wolf meat, with each piece weighing 100 grams. I immediately divided the wolf meat into 50 portions. Then I changed the trade terms to 1 portion of wolf meat for 2 pieces of iron. In an instant, I received a large amount of supplies. Then I checked the territory's resources. These resources were already enough to build the tailor shop and the blacksmith shop. While the other survivors were still figuring things out, my territory had already started to take shape. I could say the progress was pretty fast. As long as I kept developing at this pace, it wouldn't be long before I could upgrade the territory level. Then, I could construct higher-level buildings. All I could say was that the future looked promising. Then I gave Lu Mushui some guidance on how to fight. Just then, the system suddenly alerted me. Your territory member Assam is under attack. My heart sank at once. Assam was already a level 10 knight, and with the 2 wolves at his feet, almost no one below tier 1 could match him. If he was being attacked, that meant Assam had run into a powerful enemy. Beside me, Liu Mushui received the same alert, and worry immediately filled her eyes. I reassured her that Assam had 4 permanent status effects. As long as he doesn't get killed in 1 hit, he should have no problem staying alive. Sure enough, a few minutes passed, and I still hadn't received any notice that Assam had died. Soon after, I saw Assam make his way back to the edge of the camp, looking pretty roughed up. I immediately grabbed the Barrett and went over, then asked him what happened. Assam reported back right away and explained. About 3 kilometers from the camp, we found a powerful snowfield dire bear. That dire bear can also use lightning. Winter and I were no match for that bear at all. If you hadn't strengthened us ahead of time, my lord, we might not have made it back. I think only a 2nd-tier knight could defeat it. Hearing that, I thought for a moment. Then I restored their status effects and said, Assam, take me there so I can have a look. That snowfield dire bear is only 3 kilometers from our camp. That's way too close for comfort. I need to check its strength first. Of course, I had some confidence too. With the Barret in my hands, monsters below level 20 basically aren't a match for me. Half an hour later, we arrived beside a cave at the foot of the snowy mountain. The system immediately prompted, "You have arrived at the Snowfield Dire Bear's lair. A powerful creature lives inside. It is extremely dangerous. Approach with caution." "My lord, do you need me to lure it out?" "As long as I'm careful, I should be able to escape from it." I nodded. Not long after, I felt the ground start to shake. Then, in the next second, a massive creature at least 8 meters tall suddenly burst out of the cave. A terrifying roar instantly echoed through the mountains. Snowfield Dire Bear, level 15, second tier elite creature. HP 4008. Attack 347. Skill 1, Bear Paw Strike. Against enemies with lower strength than its own, it has a 100% knockback effect. Skill 2, Wild Roar. It releases a terrifying sound wave, stunning enemies within 30 meters for 3 seconds. Skill 3, Lightning Strike. It summons the power of lightning against enemies within 20 meters, dealing 130% lightning damage and paralyzing them for 1 second. I was startled. Just looking at these 3 skills, this dire bear's strength was already close to that of a level 20 monster. But I didn't panic. Instead, I calmly analyzed the situation. It had 4000 HP. With my Barret, I would need at least 5 shots to take it down. Right now, I was 500 meters away from the bear. At the dire bear's speed, it would take at least 10 seconds to reach me. And the Barret had a 2-second cooldown between shots. 10 seconds was enough time for me to fire 5 times. So I raised the Barret and fired a shot at the Snowfield Dire Bear. In an instant, blood sprayed from the Snowfield Dire Bear, and a terrifying 872 damage number floated up. It lost its balance and fell hard to the ground. I didn't stop there. I fired again. This time, the damage actually reached a staggering 1234. It turned out I had triggered the Barret's armor-ignoring effect. After taking 2 shots in a row, the Snowfield Dire Bear was completely out to kill me. It got back up and charged at me again. I fired another shot. It actually dodged this one. I couldn't help cursing. What kind of garbage aim was that? How did I miss that? At that point, the Snowfield Dire Bear still had 1974 HP left. And after calculating the distance between me and the Snowfield Dire Bear, I only had 2 more chances to shoot. But right then, I was strangely calm. Then I fired, dealing another 893 damage. The Snowfield Dire Bear was still 100 meters away from me, and I only had 1 final shot left. This moment would decide the winner. A gunshot rang out in an instant. A terrifying 1574 damage number floated up directly above the Snowfield Dire Bear's head. The final shot not only hit, but also triggered the headshot effect. System notice: you have successfully killed a level 15 Snowfield Dire Bear. For killing a monster above your level, you gained 350 EXP, multiplied by 400%. Total EXP gained, 1,400. Your level has increased. Current level, level 3. I was instantly overjoyed. I had actually leveled up twice in a row. The system announcements still weren't over. You obtained loot from killing the Snowfield Dire Bear. Basic Heart of Strength ×1. Basic Heart of Strength, an advancement item. It allows survivors or territory members who have reached level 10 to complete advancement and become Tier 2 beings. After advancement, all attributes increase by 100%. Obtained Basic Elemental Crystals ×8. Basic Elemental Crystals. Crystals containing elemental power. They can be used to build basic magical structures or used as alchemy materials. Congratulations! You are the first survivor on the entire server to kill an elite creature. First kill reward obtained. Basic Elemental Arrow Tower. Blueprint ×1. Icefield Druid Recruitment Scroll, EMS1. At the same time, the system prompted again. Elena and Assam were won over by the powerful combat strength you displayed. Loyalty increased. I smiled and tossed the basic Heart of Strength to Assam. My lord, can I really have such a precious Heart of Strength? Assam, during this mission, you proved your courage and quick thinking. I believe you deserve even greater power. Assam was instantly moved to tears. I am willing to give my life for you, my lord. System notification. Assam has been moved by your actions. Loyalty has increased. Current loyalty, 95. He is now willing to lay down his life for you. At the same time, as Assam used the Heart of Strength, the pressure coming from him instantly reached a terrifying level. System notification. Your territory member Assam has completed his advancement. All attributes increased by 100%. I briefly checked Assam's stats after his advancement, then looked at Elena and said, Elena, keep doing well. Once you reach level 10, I'll find a Heart of Strength for you too, so you can break through to Tier 2. Thank you for your generosity, my lord. Elena is willing to give everything she has for you, my lord. System notification. Elena has been moved by your words. Loyalty has increased. Current loyalty, 85. I smiled and looked at the recruitment scroll the system had given me. Icefield Druid Recruitment Scroll. This scroll can summon level 15 Elite Druid. It was actually a level 15 elite monster. All I could say was, this thing was ridiculously strong. Then there was another blueprint. Basic Elemental Arrow Tower. This blueprint can build a defensive arrow tower in the territory with a range of 600 meters. Attack power, 213. Attack interval, once every 2.5 seconds. All I could say was, wow. Another serious weapon. Over 200 attack power. I could almost one-shot a level 5 creature like that. Even Assam before his advancement might not make it to the base of the tower within its 600-meter range before being shot dead. Next, I looked at the dire bear's corpse and chose to dismantle it. In an instant, I obtained over 1,000 pieces of blue-quality bear meat. There were also items like bear hides and bear gallbladders. What made me happiest was that eating the bear meat for the first time could increase both strength and constitution by 2 points. For a warrior class, that meant 4 points of attack power and 40 HP, plus 1 point of armor. And since survivors were short on food right now, if I used it for trade, I was sure people would rush to grab it. This was a massive fortune. After taking stock of the loot, I looked toward the snowfield dire bear's cave again. Assam volunteered to go in first and scout it out. I nodded. Not long after, Assam came out and said there was no danger inside, but there were several special items. I was a little surprised. Then we entered the cave. Inside, we actually found a newborn white bear cub. It was a young snowfield dire bear, with the power of lightning. I tried to pet it, but I got shocked right away, and my HP dropped by 1 point. Then I saw another system prompt. Tameable wild creature detected. Snowfield dire bear cub. Do you want to tame it and recruit it into your territory? After taming a wild creature, you need to provide it with food. It will only gain its proper combat power once it grows up. I chose yes, and the recruitment succeeded instantly. The system also prompted me to give it a name. After thinking it over, I decided to name it Volleybear. Liu Mushui happily picked up Volleybear. I was just about to warn her that this little guy could give off electricity, but Liu Mushui just smiled, and she did not get shocked at all. I was speechless. So this little cub picked favorites, huh? Next to the bear den, there was also an unlocked silver chest. My breathing sped up instantly. In this world, chests were ranked from low to high as bronze, silver, gold, and bright moon chests. Highest tier bright moon chests could even drop legendary equipment. Even a silver chest, back when I played the game in my previous life, is something I only stumbled upon after surviving for 10 days. Finding one this early was a huge deal. I opened it. Congratulations! You obtained a skill book. Mechanical Mark Robot, Black Iron Bracers, Basic Medkits Pines 5, Small Resource Pack 1000, and Silver Coins times 5. I looked at the skill book and was instantly thrilled, because it was a god-tier early game skill for cold iron mechanics. Skill book, Mechanical Mark Robot. Skill book exclusive to cold iron mechanics. Consumes materials and charge value to summon a Mark robot that inherits 120% of the survivor's attributes. The robot lasts for 180 seconds. As for the equipment, it was a bracer that could increase attack range. I could use the small resource pack right away. After using it, I would get a certain amount of stone, wood, and iron. Mithril, on the other hand, was a precious metal used to craft advanced equipment or buildings. Then I returned to the territory and checked our supplies. All I could say was that we had a lot. Then I kept assigning Da Zhuang and the others to build and gather resources. After that, Liu Mushui and I went to the Lord's cottage. Ever since I helped Liu Mushui deal with her parents last time, the two of us had gotten a lot closer. But after flirting for a little while, we did not go any further. I still made myself calm down for a while. Then I went over to the market, opened the trading interface, and got ready to sell a batch of supplies. First, I needed to focus on developing the territory. I opened the world chat. As usual, it was full of complaints. But some people were also sharing tips. One person said they had run into a group of masked people who were extremely vicious. They warned everyone else not to go near them. Just then, the chat suddenly blew up. Fang Long from the Three Heroes Guild was selling food again. 100 grams of lean meat for 100 pieces of wood, or 50 stones. Weapons and equipment got priority. Anyone with extra materials, hurry over and trade for some. Seeing this, some people got excited, while others complained that the price was too high. I just shook my head. That price really was high. It was practically enough to drain an entire camp's resources. Traded food could restore some fullness, but with supplies running low and development held back, things would only get rough from here. Then I divided the bear meat into smaller portions and listed it too. I also noted that it was meat that boosted attributes. Of course, the materials I asked for were much cheaper than Fang Long's price. Guys, go check the market. Someone is selling bear meat that boosts attributes. The bear meat caught people's attention soon after it was listed. It immediately drew a huge crowd. A survivor named Yang Ling said excitedly, I traded 50 stones for a whole piece of bear meat. Enough to boost my whole family's attributes. Oh my god. That news sent the chat into a frenzy. Some people even posted the bear meat's information in the world chat, making survivors outside District 174 incredibly jealous. Meanwhile, my screen was flooded with trade requests. In just a few minutes, I received 5,400 pieces of wood, 3,200 stones, and 342 pieces of iron. There were also 43 beginner elemental crystals, a green blueprint, and 20 pieces of mithril, and all I had paid was 215 whole pieces of bear meat. I even still had a full 1,000 pieces of bear meat in my inventory. I was thrilled. These materials were enough to upgrade the most important campfire in my camp, as well as the Lord's cabin and the Polar Dweller cabins. I could even build a beginner elemental arrow tower, a real heavy hitter. That would greatly improve the territory's defenses. So I quickly called Da Zhuang and the others over and started assigning work. But after I stepped away for a moment and stopped trading bear meat, the survivors in District 174 immediately panicked. Some worried that I had sold out. Others regretted waiting for me to lower the price, only to find it was gone. Seeing this, someone mocked them outright. You idiots really thought you could wait for him to lower the price? Do you even know what kind of meat this is? It's an item that boosts attributes. No matter when it is, that's hard currency. Besides, Boss Cao Xing's price was already very fair. Fang Long's price is the one that'll bleed you dry. Buying from him once is enough to bankrupt you. I didn't expect Fang Long to reply to that message right away. Someone's actually saying my meat is overpriced? In a world like this, I'm trying to keep you all from going hungry, so I put valuable food up for trade. And you're still saying I'm charging too much? The chat channel instantly went silent. Most of the people here were from Shangjiang. They all knew the brothers of the Sanying Society. That was a famous gang, and they were not easy to mess with. You'd better all behave yourselves. Don't you know who runs this area? From now on, anyone who wants to trade in this area needs our approval. Otherwise, you'll regret it. Come on, Fang Long. Isn't that a little too bossy? You charge a fortune for your own stuff, and now no one else is allowed to sell? You're right. You really are that bossy. Do you think the Sanying Society is some pushover? Let me tell you, the Sanying Society has hundreds of brothers in this area. Sooner or later, we're all going to run into each other. You better think carefully about the consequences. At the same time, Sanying Society members jumped in one after another to back Fang Long up. When the other survivors saw this, their faces changed, and none of them dared to speak. By then, I had finally finished assigning the work and come back. When I saw the chat messages about Fang Long actually banning others from trading, I was completely stunned. Then I let out a cold laugh. Everyone, I had something to take care of and stepped away for a bit. Trading will continue now. Didn't you hear what I said? I told you to stop trading. Kid, have you never heard of the Sanying Society? You're still going on about Toon. The Sanying Society? This isn't Blue Star anymore. So why are you still trying to act tough with me? Don't be afraid, everyone. Ignore these big idiots and keep trading. I only have a limited amount of bear meat. First come, first served. Oh, right. You idiots from the Sanying Society. Don't trade with me. You're already in a new world, and you're still acting like someone else's dogs. Go ask your masters for meat. The moment that message went out, it was like kicking a hornet's nest. The Sanying Society immediately started hurling insults at me. I wrote down the names, IDs, and numbers of everyone who had just cursed me out. Then I added them to my trade blacklist. By then, the others had also caught on. When they saw I had listed more bear meat, they all immediately backed me up in the public chat. Meanwhile, Fang Long was practically beside himself with rage, because he realized everyone from his side who tried to trade with me had been rejected. But just then, Liu Mushui's father suddenly contacted him. He said he knew my background and wanted to work with him. When Fang Long found out I had only been a lowly driver in my past life, he instantly felt relieved. Some guy from the bottom comes to this world and really thinks he can turn his life around? Right after that, he ordered every member of the Three Heroes Guild to find my camp's location at all costs. Meanwhile, my screen was flooded with trade messages. After I sold 500 full cuts of bear meat, I announced, "Everyone, I don't have much bear meat left, so I can't keep doing large-scale trades. But if you come across anything interesting, like blueprints, equipment, or skill books, you can message me privately. I can still take those." Those words gave the survivors who missed out hope again. Then I checked my territory's resource reserves. All I could say was that every resource had reached a staggering amount. This amount of resources was something that, back when I played on my phone, would have taken me almost 20 days to gather. Just then, Liu Mushui reminded me, "Cao Xing, I've dealt with that Fang Long before. He's a really shady, dangerous person, and his methods are ruthless, so you need to be careful." I nodded, but I wasn't worried at all. At this stage, player conflict was basically just finding the other person's camp and launching an attack. But with the current survivors only at level 1 or 2, there was no way they could travel dozens or even hundreds of kilometers just to come cause trouble for me. And even if they really dared to come, the level 5 Ilena plus the level 10 Twin Wolf Knights would be enough to completely crush them. Not to mention, I still had an Icefield Druid I hadn't summoned yet. Most importantly, I was about to build a powerful weapon, a basic elemental arrow tower. By then, forget just one Fang Long. Even if the entire Three Heroes Guild came at me together, they'd just be throwing their lives away. What worried me most now was actually manpower. I I had a huge amount of resources now, but only 8 polar people who could work. Even if they worked non-stop, they still couldn't put all my resources into construction. And if I couldn't turn those resources into an advantage, that would be a huge waste for me. Then, just as I was worrying about it, Assam suddenly returned from outside. And surprisingly, he had brought 3 women back with him. My lord, I have a new discovery to report to you. Then he explained. These women were refugees who had escaped from Frostbound City. Frostbound City was a town thousands of kilometers away from us. It had been taken by an army of whites. After finally escaping from Frostbound City, they ran into a cult on the road. Assam rescued them after that. They still had nowhere to go. Assam felt sorry for them, so he suggested to me that our territory could use more help. So, my lord, please take us in. We have nowhere else to go. We're willing to give you everything we have. Can you cook? All right. From now on, cooking will be your job. I then sent them the recruitment system prompt, and the recruitment was successful. Moli, Yujin, and Lan Baoshi have joined your territory. Territory population increased by 3. To make them easier to manage, I thought it over and renamed them Dahua, Erhua, and Sanhua. As for their stats, they were all level 1. Their hunger levels were just too low. Go start a fire and cook something first. Get yourselves something to eat. We don't have a dining hall or stove yet, so do it inside the Lord's cabin. After they left, I started thinking about these newly recruited people. I needed to build small shelters for them to rest in at night. Then I also needed to build a proper dining hall for the residents to eat in. Building or upgrading structures all took a lot of time. I looked at the 8 polar folk busy at work and couldn't help but sigh. We still don't have enough people. I remembered my experience from when I used to play the game. First, this game had native inhabitants. Because of that, there were usually 4 ways to recruit people. The first was to expand the territory and attract nearby tribes or refugees to join on their own. The second was to send someone like Assam out roaming, with a chance of bringing people back from the wild. The third was to go to a city or village tavern in this world and pay to recruit NPCs with special abilities. The fourth was to start a war, conquer nearby tribes, and force them to submit. However, none of these methods fit my current situation. Just as I was worrying about manpower, Moli and the others finished eating and brought me some good news at just the right time. Moli told me they had escaped from the camp of a group of brutal rangers. Many of their companions were still being held there. If possible, Moli hoped I could save them. When I heard that, I realized my chance to get more people had arrived. How many rangers are there, and do you know how strong they are? About 20 or 30. Most of them have an aura similar to yours, my lord. There are also 2 squad leaders. They're a little stronger than this snake woman. Finally, there was the strongest one, the chief captain. His aura was about the same as Mr. Assam's twin wolves. I nodded. So that meant 1 level 10 ranger, 2 above level 5, plus more than 20 rangers below level 5. But I had the upgraded Assam, and an unrecruited level 15 tier 2 elite, the Frostfield Druid. Taking action wouldn't be a problem at all. Besides, based on my gaming experience, these rangers would have some treasures hidden away. An idea came to me. After asking for the exact location, I immediately started preparing for the upcoming battle. First were the 2 skill books and piece of equipment I got yesterday. Skill book, Ice Spike. Condenses 1 to 3 ice spikes. Deals magic damage to the enemy equal to spirit, multiplied by 0.8, with a 30% chance to freeze them for 1 second. Skill book, Aurora's Blessing. Condenses the power of the Aurora onto a weapon. When attacking in melee, it deals extra light damage to the enemy, equal to spirit, multiplied by 0.8. The effect lasts 60 seconds. Of the 2 skills, I learned Ice Spike, and gave Aurora's Blessing to Liu Mushui. Then I used the Frostfield Druid recruitment scroll. In an instant, a force filled with the power of nature descended. Guardian Andrew, reporting for duty. I checked Andrew's panel, and found that he also had a transformation skill. Giant Bear Form. Transforms into a Frostfield Giant Bear. All attributes increase by 30%. It also grants the additional skills Wild Roar and Ferocious Charge. Giant Bear Form lasts 60 seconds. Cooldown, 180 seconds. I nodded in satisfaction. I also noticed that Andrew's loyalty was only 63, and that his eyes were cold when he looked at me. I understood. I was too weak, and this guy wasn't exactly willing to obey me. That was exactly what Andrew was thinking. A weak lord could not earn his full loyalty. I smiled and simply said, Andrew, as one of my subjects, you will receive a sacred blessing. Then, as Andrew watched in shock, I cast Ice Healing, Ice Armor, and several of Elena's blessing skills, all onto Andrew. With Eternal Power, I made all of those effects permanent. Feeling his power increase, permanently no less, Andrew was stunned. My lord, what kind of blessing is this? It's incredibly powerful. This is a reward for your loyalty. Only my subjects can receive this kind of blessing. My lord, I've never seen power like yours in my life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your blessing. System notification. You helped your subject Andrew become stronger. Loyalty has increased. Current loyalty, 74. I smiled. Then got ready to lead everyone to the hunter camp. Then the system suddenly sent another notice to all survivors. Attention! You have survived the second day of the Frozen Era. You have adapted to the rhythm of this world. Level rankings will open soon. The first 100 survivors in each region to reach level 10 will receive ranking rewards. I took a quick look at the rewards. Most of the rewards from 100th place to 4th place were food and resources. The top 3 rewards were something else. They even included Tier 2 creature recruitment vouchers and blue equipment. The reward that really made my heart race was the first place reward. It actually included a Tier 2 leader class creature recruitment voucher. In this world, whether they were recruited creatures or wild creatures, they were all ranked based on their aptitude. Aptitude represented their strength and growth potential. From lowest to highest, the ranks were common, elite, captain, leader, and commander. The higher the aptitude, the more their attributes increased with each level up. For example, an elite creature's attributes were naturally 30% stronger than a common creature's. Following that logic, this first place reward actually skipped the captain rank and directly awarded a leader class creature recruitment voucher. That was seriously powerful. At that moment, I decided I had to go all out and do everything I could to claim the first place reward. At the same time, Fang Long, who had a grudge against me, as well as people from other factions, were thinking the same thing I was. However, the system said it would still be some time before the rankings were announced. So I pushed down my excitement and led everyone straight to the hunter camp. After we arrived, the system notified me that I had entered a special area. Current danger level of the hunter camp. Extremely dangerous. Seeing that, I didn't back down at all. The system had assessed it based on my own strength, without counting my followers. So I immediately had Andrew, Assam, and the others charge in. In an instant, someone shouted, "Enemy attack!" Dozens of spear-wielding hunters reacted as well and rushed out of their tents. I took a quick look at their stats. They were all level 3 or 4 monsters, no threat at all. Then I saw Andrew charge into the crowd. With one swipe of his claws, several damage numbers in the 3 to 400s floated up. At the same time, the system notified me that my territory member Andrew had killed a hunter, gained 40 EXP. Combat participants: Lu Mushui, Cao Xing. Territory follower Elena gained half EXP, 20 points. Liu Mushui and I were both startled. Neither of us had joined the fight, but we still gained EXP. But I figured it out pretty quickly. We had both given Andrew and the others buffs, so when Andrew killed monsters, it counted as both of us taking part too. That was why we got a share of the EXP. Once I realized that, all I could think was, this is amazing. That meant as long as I recruited enough powerful followers, I could send them all out, then just sit back in my territory and level up. More importantly, this gave Lu Mushui and me an even better shot at getting the leaderboard rewards. At that point, the hunter's attacks could only do a little damage to Andrew and the others. But soon, healing numbers kept popping up over Andrew and the others. The hunters were completely dumbfounded. They were healing more than they were taking damage. That was way too unfair. Just then, someone suddenly rushed out from the center of the camp. It was the hunter captain. I checked his stats. He even had a skill called Greased Souls, which increased his movement speed when running away. I immediately warned Andrew and the others. That guy is the captain. Don't let him get away. Seeing how strong Andrew and the others were, the captain had already been planning to run. When he heard my voice, he took off even faster. But then Andrew let out a roar and transformed straight into a giant bear. Then he charged after the captain and slammed him hard with one swipe. He actually killed him on the spot. In an instant, the system notified me that I had gained 150 EXP. At the same time, I reached level 4. The system also notified me that I had destroyed a hunter camp. Territory reputation increased by 50. Notice, since you completed a high difficulty conquest, you have received an extra reward based on your strength rating. Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll. It can summon a level 20 Elite Phantom Assassin. I was instantly thrilled. It was actually a level 20 Elite Assassin, even stronger than Andrew. Then I went forward to collect the loot. Got some hunter masks, Tier 1 soldier training manual, and some coins. The hunter masks were equipment. It could increase spirit. As for the Tier 1 soldier training manual, it could turn ordinary people in the territory into Tier 1 soldiers with combat ability. Coins were the common currency on this continent. They could be used in towns in this world to buy supplies or recruit followers. Then I went into the hunters' tents. Inside the first tent was a bloody ritual scene. It almost made me throw up. Sure enough, these hunters were all lunatics. In the other tents, I found quite a few coins, along with food and supplies. Just then, Andrew told me he had found a strange key on the captain. Goblin Treasury Key. With this key, you can go to the designated coordinates and open the Goblin Treasury. Warning, special dangers may be hidden in this area. Proceed with caution. My eyes lit up right away. Although goblins are a weak race, they are extremely good at digging tunnels and finding treasure. So goblin treasuries often hold rare treasures. But those coordinates were over 40 kilometers away from me. With my current mobility, that was still too much. I could only leave it for another day. Then I went to the last tent, where the refugees were being held. I Checked their names, but froze when I saw the last one. Survivor Tong Chuchu, current level 1. She was actually a human from Blue Star. Liu Mushui immediately stepped forward to comfort her. After talking with her, we learned that yesterday, Tong Chuchu had gone out with her father to look for food. They were attacked by the hunters, and she was captured. As for Tong Chuchu's father, after the hunters took him away last night, he never came back. After saying that, Tong Chuchu broke down sobbing again. I could only sigh. When we attacked the hunter camp, we saw many evil altars piled with corpses. Tong Chuchu's father was probably one of the victims. Liu Mushui looked at me and asked if we could take Tong Chuchu back to camp. I nodded. The camp was gradually getting on track, so feeding one more person wasn't a problem. Besides, this little girl was also a survivor. She might be able to help someday. After learning that I was a powerful lord, Tong Chuchu looked at me with a bit of fear and curiosity. Then she asked hesitantly, could we take her mother with us too? Her mother was still alone back at the camp. That left me conflicted. Human survivors weren't like those natives, who wouldn't rebel easily. The reason I was willing to take this little girl was that she had no real combat ability and posed no threat. Adults were another matter. So I opened the system interface and asked how I could get other survivors to join my territory, if I wanted them to. I then learned there were currently 2 ways. Method 1. Invite them to join the territory as a new lord, and share buildings, permissions, resources, and more. Second method was to recruit them into the territory as residents. They would only have basic rights to live there and build things. They also couldn't attack allied units. When I saw the second method, I had an idea. If I recruited them into my territory as residents, I wouldn't have to worry about them damaging my territory. That was exactly what I needed. Then I asked Tong Chuchu where her camp was, and whether she was willing. It would still depend on her mother's choice. Hearing this, Tong Chuchu immediately thanked me. Thank you, big brother. Chuchu will remember your kindness for the rest of her life. I looked back into the tent at the other native residents and asked if they knew Molly and Sapphire, the ones Assam had saved earlier. After they said the 2 were their companions, I nodded and told them those 2 were now residents of my territory. They were also the ones who gave me the information and asked me to come save them. So were they willing to submit and join my territory? After learning that I had already taken out all the hunters outside, they immediately agreed respectfully. This time, I recruited 6 people in total, 3 men and 3 women, but they all had foreign names. So I simply renamed the men Cao Yi, Cao and Cao San, and named the women Si Hua, Wu Hua, and Liu Hua. Among them, Cao Yi came with a basic public speaking talent. He could give a speech to calm the residents down. Si Hua had basic cooking skills. The food she cooked provided an extra 20% satiety. My eyes lit up. That was an unexpected bonus. I also found a hunter's storage chest in the corner of the camp. After clicking it open, I got quite a bit of white bread, wheat seeds, milk, and other food, as well as metals like copper. Wheat seeds could be planted on tilled land. That meant I now had a steady food source. As for copper, it was also an important metal in this world. It could be used to make wires and electric lights. On top of that, making snowfield robots and even war robots required large amounts of copper. I also obtained a letter marked as a special item. A letter from the Church of Light. After opening it and reading it, it said, "To all believers of the God of Light, the Lord has sent down a revelation. It declares that the Savior is about to appear. To welcome the arrival of the Savior, he will soon carry out a blood sacrifice. All believers of light near the Ice Crystal Kingdom are to head to the stronghold near the designated coordinates. Once the number of believers reaches a sufficient scale, we will launch an attack on Duolun Lake City and sacrifice every living being in the town to the Savior." System notification. This is a quest item. You can deliver this letter to Duolun Lake City and expose the Church of Light's plot ahead of time. After reading the letter, I frowned. These rangers were actually planning to attack a city. That was seriously insane. As for the system telling me to deliver the letter, I didn't even know where this Duolun Lake City was. As for that ranger gathering spot, I checked its coordinates and saw it was more than 200 kilometers away, so I breathed a sigh of relief. From that far away, it shouldn't affect me. After that, we burned the entire ranger camp to the ground. Then the others and I headed to Tong Chuchu's campfire camp. When we arrived at the camp, I was just about to follow Tong Chuchu inside when the system gave me a prompt. During beginner protection, you can't enter another survivor's camp. After waiting helplessly for a while, I saw a tall woman with a mature charm walk out from inside. Her name was Xia Yani. As soon as she came out and saw so many people gathered outside the territory, her shoulders trembled. Thankfully, Tong Chuchu explained right away and told her how we had saved her. Only then did Xia Yani thank me with tears in her eyes. As she spoke, she even tried to pull Tong Chuchu down to kneel with her. "Ma'am, there's no need to be so polite. Chuchu should have told you. My territory needs more people right now. If you're willing to join us, you can come back to the territory with us. You can help build up the territory, and we'll grow together. In return, we'll keep you safe and provide food." Xia Yani hesitated for a moment, then nodded to show she was willing. After I sent recruitment invitations to both of them, the system prompted me again, saying this territory was now ownerless and asking if I wanted to occupy it. After tapping confirm, I gained another territory. At the same time, the campfire's relic chest opened. Inside, there was only a small amount of wood and stone, along with 2 pieces of rat meat. These were the last resources this territory had left. In other words, if I hadn't come, within 2 days, the 2 of them would either starve after running out of food, or freeze to death after running out of wood. I took a deep breath and made up my mind. This world was full of opportunities, but also full of danger. I had to build up my own strength and territory as quickly as possible. I could never let my storage chest turn into a relic chest. By the time we returned to the territory, it was almost dark. When Molly saw those familiar faces, she cried out and rushed over at once. She and her companions started talking like people who had just survived a disaster. Zhuang also walked over. My lord, the campfire has been upgraded successfully. Your lord's cabin is also being upgraded faster. I nodded and looked toward the campfire. The campfire had already reached level 5. It could raise the temperature by 10 to 20 degrees Celsius within a 160-meter radius. Under the heat of the flames, the snow-covered ground around it gradually began to show. Only on that exposed ground could we build more structures and plant different crops. So the campfire's level determined the size of your territory. Once the campfire was upgraded into an energy tower later on, its heating range alone could cover an entire city. And as survivors kept building all kinds of structures and developing their territories, they could even have a city of their own one day. I said, not bad. Then I had Da Zhuang take Wu Zhuang and Liu Zhuang to keep gathering resources, with the focus on that coal mine. After the campfire upgrade, it would use a lot of coal, so we had to make sure the camp stayed heated. Then I called Zhuang over. I told Zhuang to take Qi Zhuang and Ba Zhuang and hurry up with building more small shelters, a cafeteria, and so on. They were to try to finish before dark. That way, the new members would have places to eat and sleep. As for San Zhuang and Si Zhuang who were left, I told the 2 of them they only needed to build 1 basic elemental arrow tower before dark. By now, the newly joined humans had finished talking too. When they saw the polar people working in the camp, the slightly older Cao Yi's eyes flickered. He quickly led the other refugees over. My lord, please give us more tasks too. No rush. I know you probably haven't eaten in days. You should fill your stomachs before you start working. Newly joined subjects exchanged glances. They saw surprise and relief in each other's eyes. It seemed like this was the first time they had met such a considerate lord. We don't have a cafeteria yet, so eat some bread for now. Liu Mushui immediately took more than a dozen loaves of bread from the territory's resources. She gave 2 pieces to each new territory member. At that moment, Cao Yi, Si Hua, and the others quickly thanked us with tears in their eyes. Their loyalty all rose by a large amount as well. As for Tong Chuchu and Sha Yani off to the side, they swallowed as they looked at the white bread in the subjects' hands. They had been hungry for a while now. They were just as desperate for food. They took 4 pieces of bread from the territory's resources and handed them to Sha Yani. Eat something first. Xia Yani bent slightly at the waist, grateful, and quickly thanked me. I looked back at Cao Yi again. From now on, the people you brought will all be under your command. Your next tasks are to keep upgrading the campfire and gather resources. Wood and stone both need to be collected. With the extra manpower, help Da Zhuang and the others build some basic structures too. Cao Yi quickly nodded. I handed the wheat seeds to Molly. Take someone with you. Find a spot near the territory to clear for farmland, and plant this wheat. These are top-quality wheat seeds. They'll definitely grow into high-quality wheat. My lord, I will complete the task you've given me. I looked over the busy scene in the territory and nodded with satisfaction. Starting from one small campfire, we had gradually gained so many people, and we were building more and more structures. This was the fun of building up a settlement. Just then, something occurred to me, and I asked, by the way, does anyone here know how to sew clothes? Liu Mushui and I never processed the wolf pelts we got before. We weren't very good at keeping out the cold. Now that the sewing shop is built, we need to assign someone to work there, and someone with sewing skills can make clothes much faster. People exchanged glances, then all shook their heads. Just then, I can. Back home, I often did some handiwork to help support the family. Hong Chu chimed in. My mom is really good at it. The clothes she makes are beautiful. I nodded and handed the wolf pelts to Jia Yani. Then I'll have to trouble you to make these 2 wolf pelts into clothes for me. See if you can use the leftover material to make hats and gloves. Okay, I can do that. These are excellent wolf pelts. Would tomorrow be all right? I nodded, and Xia Yani let out a sigh of relief. Then she took her daughter into the sewing shop. By now, the sky had grown dark, and night was about to fall. In this world, darkness took up more than half the day. There were fewer than 10 hours of daylight. So Liu Mushui and I went straight back to the Lord's cabin to rest. At the same time, the second day since all of humanity arrived in this world was coming to an end. Spurred on by the level rankings, many survivors tried venturing out into the snow today. Some went with their families, while others went alone. They carefully explored the areas around their camps, and they all gained something from it. Meanwhile, in a certain corner of the area where Zone 174 was located, Fang Long, holding a black iron longsword, cut down a wild boar with one strike. Then a white glow of leveling up rose from his body. Good. I finally reached level 3 before dark. Ever since the rankings opened, I've been out here looking for low-level beasts that were on their own. No one should be killing them faster than me, right? Elsewhere, a fierce-looking middle-aged man with a fleshy face pulled the sandalwood longbow in his hand all the way back. Then he fired an arrow, killing a roe deer on the spot. This middle-aged man was none other than Zhou Bo of the Tiandao Society. Then Zhou Bo received a message from one of his men. Boss, we've already compiled all the brothers' coordinates. Within 30 kilometers of your camp, 2 of our brothers have camps in that area. If they build up a little more today, they should both be able to reach you tomorrow. A vicious grin spread across Zhou Bo's face. Good. Once those 2 brothers get here tomorrow, we can team up and hunt monsters together. Our leveling speed will improve a lot. When that time comes, Fang Long, 5-star tiger, all of them will be crushed under my feet. At the same time, large numbers of survivors ended their day of exploration and returned to their camps. The chat channel gradually started getting lively too. Many people said that teaming up with their families made dealing with those low-level wild monsters pretty easy. They had also managed to get some food. Others complained that they had barely left camp before running into several high-level monsters. They couldn't beat the frost goblins at all. It was just plain bad luck. At the same time, a countdown appeared. The system announced that the level rankings were being calculated. In 3 minutes, the survivor level rankings for each major district would be announced. Everyone could check their own level on the rankings, along with the related leaderboards, which would refresh in real time. Everyone immediately perked up. They couldn't help wondering who currently had the highest level. Someone mentioned that of course it had to be 5-star Tiger, the boss of Tiger Hall. After all, 5-star Tiger was already level 3. But someone else immediately pointed out that Zhou Bo and Fang Long were also level 3. Just as many people were still shocked, they saw a system notification. The level rankings update was complete. The rankings on it were beyond everyone's expectations. District 174 level rankings. First place, Cao Xing, level 4, 1%. Second place, 5-star Tiger, level 3, 25%. Third place, Zhou Bo, level 3, 14%. When they saw the ranking list, the entire District 174 chat channel fell silent for a moment. Then messages flooded the screen. First place is actually Boss Cao Xing, as expected of the man who killed a bear. At that moment, Fang Long, Zhou Bo, and the others all looked grim. Damn it, how did that brat get first place? On the other side, an intrigued smile appeared on Zhou Bo's face as well. Interesting. I thought this brat was just lucky, and that offending Fang Long meant he was done for. Now it looks like he really does have some skill. Zhou Bo opened his friends list. Then he clicked on someone and sent a private message. Use your connections. I want to look into this Cao Xing's background. Meanwhile, inside the Lord's cabin, Liu Mushui looked at me with excitement in her eyes and said, Cao Xing, you're in first place. That's amazing. I smiled. Tomorrow, we'll keep at it and see if we can get you a top 10 reward too. Early the next morning, I got a system message saying the basic elemental arrow tower had been built. Then, at the edge of the campfire, a 50-foot tall hexagonal tower appeared in the camp. If any enemy came within 600 meters of the camp, the arrow tower would attack automatically. It was incredibly powerful. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Sihua walked in with a smile, carrying a bowl of bear gall soup and a serving of roasted bear meat. She said both ingredients had been prepared according to my instructions from yesterday. When I saw that, my eyes lit up. Bear gall could directly increase HP by 200 points. Bear meat could increase strength and constitution by 2 points each. Those were both pretty big boosts. Then, after one bite of bear meat, the system immediately prompted me. Strength +2. Constitution +2. As for the bear gall, the strange thing was, I ate several mouthfuls in a row but didn't get any system notification about a stat increase. Only after I had eaten half of it did the system notify me that I had successfully consumed the bear gall. Maximum HP increased by 200, so I had to eat half the bear gall to get the stat increase. In that case, the remaining half could still give another boost, so I gave the remaining half directly to Liu Mushui. Unfortunately, this kind of food only worked the first time you ate it. Just then, another system notification sounded. Survivors, congratulations. You have made it through the 3rd night of the Frozen Era. Time remaining in the Novice Protection period, 2 days and 22 hours. Also, there will be a light snowfall tonight. The lowest temperature will reach -70 degrees Celsius. Please take precautions against the cold and stay warm. Cao Xing, is it going to snow tonight? It will. As long as it's not a blizzard, we'll be fine. The facilities our territory has now, we can get through it. Then I pushed open the door of the Lord's cabin. Outside, the polar people and the newly joined residents were already waiting there. When they saw me come out, they said in unison, "Good morning, my lord. Please assign us today's work." Residents were full of enthusiasm. Before this, they had lived on the edge of starvation. After just 1 day in my territory, they had already seen its potential. So, they valued this opportunity even more. I nodded. Today, keep working on what I assigned you yesterday. Gather more resources, so we can upgrade the campfire and the Lord's cabin. Let's build a more prosperous territory together. Yes, my lord. At that moment, Xia Yani and Tong Chu each stepped forward, holding a thick set of clothes. Xia Yani said carefully, "My lord, the clothes are ready." As someone from the modern world, she didn't seem used to addressing him that way. "Thanks for your hard work." He took the clothes. It was a finished wolfskin coat and a wolfskin hat. Although these two pieces of clothing didn't come with any added stats, it would still do a great job of keeping out the cold. Then I looked at the dark circles under Xia Yani's eyes. I could tell she must have stayed up late last night, so I took out 2 pieces of bear meat and a bottle of milk and handed them to Xia Yani. "My lord, can I really have such precious meat and milk? Chu is still young. Let her have them to build up her strength." Xia Yani's eyes immediately reddened a little, and she nodded solemnly, thanking me again and again. Tong Chu also said happily, "Thank you, big brother." After assigning the work, I called Assam over again. I asked him if, when he went out yesterday, besides rescuing Molly, they had discovered anything else. After handing me a rough map of the nearby resources, Assam told me that besides ordinary resources, he had also found a mine, but it had already been taken over by a group of mole people. Besides that, he had heard the roar of machinery nearby. Hearing this, my eyes lit up. That meant there were likely some technological creations inside that mine. I asked how strong those mole people were. Assam said that although he hadn't gone in to investigate, mole people were low-level creatures, generally around Tier 1 in strength. Only occasionally would a few Tier 2 or Tier 3 mole people appear. After hearing that, I already had a plan. That mine wasn't far from the territory either, which was perfect. Then our goal today is to explore this mole people's mine. We'll try to raise both my level and Lu Mushue's. But before setting out, I plan to use that Phantom Assassin recruitment scroll. That would strengthen my team's combat power. Phantom Assassin recruitment scroll summons a Phantom Assassin with level 20 elite strength. Recruit? Tapped confirm. A mass of black mist instantly appeared in front of me and rapidly expanded, enveloping the entire camp in just a few seconds. Within it, a figure could be faintly seen moving. Not the slightest aura leaked from that figure, yet it sent waves of deadly danger through me. The next moment, the mist dispersed. A woman draped in a black cloak and wearing tight black leather armor emerged from within. A pitch-black helmet on her head covered most of her face. Only her teal skin and slightly red lips could be seen. She slowly spoke. "The Temple of Shadows needs protection. That is why I have come. Phantom Assassin Sarah, reporting to you." I nodded. "Welcome aboard, Sarah." Sarah didn't react. Liu Muxue also said softly, "Welcome, Sarah." "Thank you, beautiful lady. Sarah is at your service." I rolled my eyes from the side. Talk about playing favorites. But I was already used to it. New recruits were always this cold when they first arrived. Then I looked at Sarah's stats. Sarah came with 3 skills. Skill 1. Phantom form. Blurs her shape and hides her presence. While hidden, her dodge chance increases by 30%. Her movement speed increases by 20% for 5 minutes. Skill 2. Coup de grace. When attacking, there is a 30% chance to deal 225% damage. There is a 15% chance to deal 315% damage. There is a 5% chance to deal 432% damage. Skill 3. Talent, Shadow Body. While hidden, her dodge rate increases by an additional 15%. She also had an assassin bond, and there are at least 3 assassins on the team. Coup de Grace's trigger chance increases by 5%, and there are at least 10. Trigger chance increases by 10%. Couldn't hide the shock in my eyes. With Sarah's nearly 700 attack power, any critical hit from her blade would even rival a shot from Barrett. And if Coup de Grace triggered, the damage would be even more terrifying. On top of that, with my permanent talent boosting her, Sarah could be raised several levels higher. So I looked at Sarah with interest. "Well then, Sarah, I'm about to place a blessing on you. Are you willing to accept it?" Sarah didn't answer. She seemed a little hesitant. First, she didn't trust this new lord. Second, given how weak I was, she doubted I could give her any powerful blessing. After thinking for a moment, she still nodded. Then, without me needing to say another word, Elena applied Naga Berserk and Scale Armor to her. Sarah's body trembled. She could clearly feel how powerful that force was. Before she could speak, I also cast Healing Therapy and Ice Armor on her. Then came Lu Mushue's Aurora Blessing. After 5 permanent buffs were applied one after another, Sarah froze completely in place. Even her shoulders were trembling slightly. As an assassin who often carried out assassination missions, Sarah knew better than anyone how terrifying these permanent status effects were. Then she held the shadow blade to her chest and bowed to me respectfully. "Thank you for your blessing, great lord. Sarah is willing to pledge her loyalty to you." Then the system showed that Sarah's strength had increased. Loyalty has increased. Current loyalty, 71. I smiled, then said, "Let's keep moving." Target, the Molaman Mine. An hour later, we arrived at our destination. It was a mine entrance at the foot of a snowy mountain. At the same time, the system marked it as a special area. Molaman mine was crawling with large numbers of Molaman, along with some special dangers. Please approach with caution. Current danger level. Extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous again. But I didn't care. Compared to when I was at the hunter camp, my strength had improved a lot. So I waved my hand and led everyone into the mine. Andrew, who had the highest defense, walked in front, while Assam entered second. As for Sarah, the moment she entered the mine, she slipped into the darkness. Liu Mushui raised her shield and watched the area around us warily. She knew her job was to protect me from harm. She stepped into the mine. On the mine walls, we could see 1 or 2 torches burning with blue flames. After taking one down, the system prompted, Magic Energy Stone Torch, I'm 1 obtained. Magic Energy Stone Torch, a low-energy lighting tool. 1 Magic Energy Stone can provide light for up to half a year. The Magic Energy Stone inside the torch could also be removed separately. My eyes lit up. Magic Energy Stones were good stuff. Some mechanical creations in this world needed energy to run. And that energy came from Magic Energy Stones. In the later stages, energy towers and some other buildings would also need Magic Energy Stones to supply power. Like elemental crystals, this stuff was also a hard currency. Then I had Assam and Andrew take down every Magic Energy Stone torch for me. At the same time, I saw the iron rails on the ground and a minecart tipped over nearby. The abandoned minecart could be dismantled for 8 pieces of iron. Or, it could be brought back to the territory and repaired with 4 pieces of iron. Iron rails can be used to build tracks and speed up mineral transport. Or they can be dismantled for 4 pieces of iron. This was good stuff too, so I simply took it all. We continued forward. Before long, we saw dozens of creatures with rat heads mining away. There were level 5 monsters, Moleman miners. There was also a level 7 Moleman Overseer. When it saw people arrive, the Moleman Overseer immediately cracked the long whip in its hand and roared, Invaders! Go kill them! The group of Moleman instantly swarmed in to surround and kill us. But the gap in strength was too great. Andrew only had to charge across the ground to send Moleman flying one after another. Assam was even more at ease, sword in hand. Not to mention the flashes of cold light still slicing through the darkness. Every time that cold light swept by, it brought up terrifying damage numbers in the hundreds, or even thousands. With that kind of strength, even the Moleman Overseer had fear in his eyes. And after Sarah and the others killed the monsters, Liu Mushui and I could also get half the experience. A white glow soon rose from Liu Mushui. She had actually reached level 3. Then, Liu Mushui looked at the battlefield ahead and asked cautiously, I want to fight too. Is that okay? I could see how serious she was. I also knew it was time to let her get more real combat experience. Besides, with her current defense, she could handle 1 Moleman miner without a problem. So I nodded and told her to be careful. Liu Mushui took a deep breath. She raised her shield, gripped her long sword in her right hand, and charged forward. She soon faced off against a Moleman miner. Moleman swung its iron pickaxe and slammed it into Liu Mushui's shield. Liu Mushui gritted her teeth and raised her shield to block. But she found it could only deal tiny damage to her, like 0.8 minus 13. In the next second, Ice Healing restored her HP to full, with +10/+10 ticks. Seeing that the Moleman could not really hurt her, Liu Mushui let out a sigh of relief. At the same time, she remembered the times I had taught her how to fight. Though she felt a little shy, she gradually found her rhythm in battle. Then Liu Mushui thrust her sword forward and finished off the Moleman. At the same time, I raised my staff too. I kept firing ice spikes, picking off the Moleman with low HP. By now, the Moleman Overseer was so terrified that he was hurrying deeper into the mine. Just then, Sarah emerged from the shadows. With 1 critical strike, she wiped out his remaining HP. I praised her, saying, Sarah, nice work. Then I remembered that Sarah's level had already met the advancement requirement. If I could get a Tier 2 Heart of Strength now, Sarah could advance into a Tier 3 creature. By then, her strength would double again. Then we started clearing the battlefield. Aside from some dried rations and metal, there were also several books of chaos. We could randomly increase an allied unit's attributes by 1.4 times. There was also the long whip in the Moleman Overseer's hand. The Moleman Overseer's long whip came with the special effect, Spur. Strike a target with the whip to increase its work speed. For the next 5 minutes, its movement speed increases by 10%. It also came with the special effect, Deepened Pain, increasing the pain caused by whipping by 50%. Seeing this, my expression turned a little strange. Could this thing also count as a buff effect? If I combined it with my hidden talent, could it become permanent? So under Liu Mushui and the others' astonished gazes, I lashed myself hard with the whip. After a sharp crack, I sucked in a cold breath. It really hurt. Right after that, the system notified me that I had received the spur effect. Movement speed increased by 10% for 5 minutes. Talent, Eternal Power activated. Spur has become a permanent boost. All I can say is, it actually works. With the Serpent Folk's Berserk skill, that means I can give myself and other allied units a permanent 30% boost to movement speed. That's a huge upgrade. Liu Mushui and the others saw my painful but excited reaction. and were completely confused. The honest Assam hurried over and asked, "My lord, what's wrong?" "Assam, can I whip you once?" Everyone was speechless. Although the request was strange, Assam's loyalty was as high as 95, so he would not disobey my orders. He still nodded and said, "If that is what you wish, my lord, then yes." So I didn't hold back, and struck Assam with the whip. Assam's determined face tightened with pain. He also felt a surge of power inside him, and said in surprise, "So this was your intention, my lord? How amazing. Thank you for your encouragement, honored lord." Then Assam said, sounding a little embarrassed, "My lord, may I ask you to whip me a few more times?" Assam wants to become even stronger. Only the first spur has any effect. Hearing that, Assam nodded with some regret. The others nearby, however, were completely confused. Then I coughed twice and explained the whip's effect to them. Then, Andrew, Sarah, let me give you this blessing too. Soon, the sound of the whip echoed through the mine. After applying the status effect, we continued forward. There were quite a few rails along the way, and I collected them all. I gathered over 100 meters in total. Eventually, a fork appeared in the mine ahead. The passage on the left seemed to lead deeper into the mine. The faint rumble of machinery came from inside. The passage on the right was sealed off with wooden boards. It seemed to be a restricted area. I thought for a moment. I had Andrew remove the boards on the right so we could see what was inside first. Inside, there seemed to be several overturned mine carts. Ore was scattered all over the ground nearby. It looked like those Molamen had run into some kind of trouble. They didn't have time to evacuate and left everything here. Sarah suddenly spoke from the shadows. "I can sense a dangerous presence inside." I frowned. Sarah was a level 20 elite monster. If even she thought it was dangerous, that meant some terrifying creature was inside. I sent Sarah to scout ahead. Sarah nodded. Then she vanished into the shadows. A minute later, Sarah appeared again. She said, "Inside is the lair of a tier 2 monster. It's about as strong as I am. But with the blessing my lord gave me, and with Andrew and Assam helping, it shouldn't be a problem." That put me at ease, and I immediately decided we would move forward. Along the way, I picked up quite a few more ores from the ground. There was even mithril ore and magic energy stone. Even Liu Mushui couldn't help but sigh. This haul is really good. The ore and mine carts alone make this trip worth it. When we reached the depths of the passage, the light suddenly dimmed. I noticed white spiderwebs across the ceiling and along both sides of the mine tunnel. Some huge webs even filled the passage, blocking our way forward. At the same time, a powerful, evil aura rushed out from deep inside the cave. I ordered Assam to clear the passage. But when Assam swung his longsword, it felt like he was chopping into jelly. He had to strike several times before he could clear away the webs. Then Sarah spoke up. "Let me clear the way." Sure enough, Sarah swung the shadow blade in her hand and cut a wide opening through the tough webs. As we stepped deeper into the cave, the system immediately gave a prompt. "You have entered a special area, Crypt Demon Spider's Lair." Then I saw that the cave ceiling ahead was covered in spider webs. Large white cocoons, wrapped up like bundles, hung upside down above everyone's heads. On the ground were glowing orbs of all sizes, coated in green slime. The smaller ones were small demon spider eggs. When destroyed, they would release 3 to 8 level 3 small demon spiders. The larger ones were large demon spider eggs. When destroyed, they would release 1 or 2 level 15 large demon spiders. I looked around and saw at least dozens of demon spider eggs on the ground. My scalp went numb. I was just about to say we should clear out the demon spider eggs first, when I heard the webs overhead start to tremble. A terrifying figure over 5 meters tall quickly filled everyone's view. "Boss, the Crypt Demon Spider has appeared." The moment the Crypt Demon Spider appeared, it sprayed out a mass of spider silk. It pinned Andrew in place right away. But Andrew let out a furious roar. His body rapidly grew larger as he entered giant bear form. Then he tore the webs off his body and broke free. He immediately shouted, "Bring it down." Andrew, now transformed into a giant bear, suddenly leapt up. He shot into the air and lunged fiercely at the Crypt Demon Spider. However, the Crypt Demon Spider quickly retreated, making Andrew's swipe miss. Just then, a cold glint shot silently out of the darkness. Sarah's fatal dagger struck the Crypt Demon Spider. The Crypt Demon Spider cried out in pain, its whole body convulsing. At the same time, a huge damage number, 643, floated up. Meanwhile, I fired 3 ice spikes. Although they only dealt a dozen or so damage, one of the ice spikes triggered the freeze effect. The Crypt Demon Spider's body stiffened, and a layer of frost instantly covered its surface. Then it fell from overhead. I was thrilled. Ice Spike was such a useful skill. Each ice spike had a 30% chance to freeze. If they all hit, there was a high chance of briefly locking down the enemy. Once the Crypt Demon Spider hit the ground, I immediately ordered everyone to chase it down. Crypt Demon Spider had no choice but to fight head-on. With one bite, it dealt 304 damage directly to Andrew. It also inflicted a poison status that kept ticking for 8 damage. However, in giant bear form, Andrew's HP was close to 8,000. On top of that, green healing numbers kept floating up from him. He simply ignored the damage and fought the crypt demon spider up close. Assam, the two wolves, and Sarah also took the chance to move in and attack. I ordered Andrew to tank the spider's damage first. If his HP dropped to half, Assam would take over. In an instant, a flood of damage numbers floated up. I took the chance to check the crypt demon spider's stats and found that it also had a skill called Spider Frenzy. When the crypt demon spider's HP fell below 30%, it would hatch all the spider eggs early. Then it would command all the spiders to attack the enemy. I immediately realized this was bad and ordered Assam to take the two wolves and Winter out of the fight. He needed to clear out the nearby spider eggs first. Assam immediately rushed toward a nearby small spider egg. With one slash, several small spiders immediately appeared inside. Assam took them down almost one per strike, easily skewering those little demon spiders. At the same time, I kept gathering frost power and smashing ice orbs down. To my surprise, killing the little demon spiders also gave experience. Considering how many spider eggs were in this cave, that was a considerable amount of experience too. So the crypt demon spider's HP, under Andrew and Sarah's combined assault, started draining away like water. Those spider eggs were also being destroyed one after another by Assam. I followed behind Assam, constantly finishing them off, and my experience started rising fast. Meanwhile, the survivors outside were also having a heated discussion about the level rankings. Feng Long, Zhou Bo, and others had already reached level 4. Many of their subordinates secretly mocked me, saying I was just a lucky kid. Several of their brothers had already teamed up together. Their boss would surpass my level sooner or later. At the very next second, they saw my level go from level 4, 52%, straight up to 55%. And a few seconds later, it jumped again to level 4, 60%. The sheer speed stunned everyone. Meanwhile, the battle in the cave was almost over. The crypt demon spider had only 1,203 HP left. After Sarah slashed it, that dropped below 600. I quickly told Sarah to stop. Then I pulled out the Barrett without hesitation. The crypt demon spider thought it had survived and tried to leap into the air to escape. I seized the moment and fired a shot right at it. The damage number of 804 instantly floated up. System prompt: Level 20 elite creature crypt demon spider killed. Killing a higher level monster grants 5 times the EXP. Total: 2,500 points. Combatants: Lu Mushui, Sarah, Andrew, Elena, and Assam. Gained 1,250 EXP. Your level has increased. Current level, 5. A white leveling glow rose from Lu Mushui and me at the same time. Excited, I checked the loot. Aside from the basic Heart of Strength and the basic Elemental Crystal, everything else was new. There was a green quality basic pet contract. It can be used on a wild creature to make it your exclusive pet. There was also basic Chaos Magic, which can be used on a retainer to randomly increase 3 to 4 of their attributes. There was also an elite grade Demon Spider Essence. It can be used on a retainer below Tier 2 to give them a high chance of evolving into an elite creature. Seeing this, my eyes lit up. I looked around, then fixed my gaze on Assam. Assam was currently only a Tier 2 common creature. If I could raise him to elite grade, he would get a lot stronger. So I called Assam over and tossed him the Demon Spider Essence. Assam, use this. It will make you stronger. Assam didn't hesitate and pressed it straight into his body. The next moment, Assam's whole body suddenly went stiff. An incredibly powerful aura surged from him. System prompt: Assam used the Demon Spider Essence and successfully evolved into an elite creature. All attributes increased by 30%. Additional skill unlocked. Frost Sword Aura. Gathers frost power and unleashes a sword aura with a freezing effect. Deals 166% attack damage to all enemies within 30 meters along its path. Assam also sensed that his strength had grown by a huge amount. He immediately dropped to one knee and looked at me excitedly. Thank you, my lord, for granting me this power. Assam can never repay you. You earned it. Then I took out a basic strength crystal from my backpack. This thing could be used on territory residents as well as summoned creatures. I glanced at Winter, the two-headed wolf nearby. He was also a Tier 1 creature and met the advancement requirements. As long as I raised him to Tier 2 as well, then among my subordinates, aside from Elena, then they would all be Tier 2. So I handed the strength crystal to Assam too. Assam, have your Winter advance as well. A powerful knight needs a powerful mount to bring out his full strength. Hearing that, Assam took the crystal with trembling hands. He looked at me gratefully and said nothing more. Instead, he turned and went straight over to Winter, the two-headed wolf. Winter, accept the power granted by our lord. Let us defend our lord's glory with our lives. With that, Assam tossed out the crystal. Winter, the two-headed wolf, swallowed it in one gulp. In an instant, Winter's aura began growing at a terrifying speed. Its body also shot up from 3 meters long to nearly 4 meters. I nodded in satisfaction. Then I looked at the final reward. A blue-quality demon spider staff. Aside from a basic magic boost, this weapon had a 40% chance to boost magic attacks, with a skill that added 10% damage. It also had a skill that could summon 5 level 10 tier 1 demon spiders to help in battle. Its effects were very powerful. I was thrilled, and had everyone search the cave to see if we could find any treasure. A few minutes later, Sarah found a treasure chest in a corner of the cave. It was actually an unlocked silver treasure chest. Inside were a backpack and several blueprints, along with some rations and medical kits. Noble's backpack, green quality. Backpack capacity, 40 slots. Special effect, charm +4. Medium shelter blueprint, holds 6 people and grants friendly units resting inside. Recovery effect that restores 0.5 HP per second. Rail blueprint, consume materials at a blacksmith shop to craft a section of rail. I equipped the backpack with satisfaction. Then I looked at the silver treasure chest on the ground. The system asked if I wanted to dismantle it. It was an opened silver treasure chest. After dismantling it successfully, I obtained 10 pieces of mithril. At this point, everything in the Crypt Demon Spider Cave had pretty much been looted clean. Then we returned to the original fork in the road. This time, our group headed down the passage on the left. After moving forward for almost 500 meters, the mine tunnel ahead became much more spacious. Just then, a monster nearly 2 meters tall and covered entirely in iron plating suddenly appeared before us. It was actually a mechanical monster, Ullman Tech drilling robot. When it saw us, the drilling robot let out a mechanical voice. Enemies must be eliminated. Then it immediately charged toward us. The advanced two-headed wolf charged ahead first. Drilling robot charged and nearly sent Winter flying. It also knocked more than 100 HP off Winter, so its attack power was no joke. Even so, under Sarah and the others' combined attack, drilling robot's durability was quickly drained. I walked up to the wrecked drilling robot. The system prompted me that I could dismantle it into various metal materials, or use a certain amount of metal materials to repair it. Once repaired, it would become an allied unit. I could give it simple commands. My eyes lit up. I had already seen how powerful the drilling robot's attacks were. And this thing could also be used for mining. It was basically a multifunctional robot. I had picked up plenty of different metals along the way, more than enough to repair the drilling robot, so I chose to repair it. In just a moment, the wrecked robot started moving again. I briefly checked its status panel and found that its top speed was as high as 30 kilometers per hour. Its standby energy use was as low as 1 magic crystal for 30 days. It was definitely practical. But just then, another dangerous presence quickly approached. In the darkness, countless pairs of blood-red eyes suddenly appeared. It was a large group of Molaman soldiers holding spears, along with 2 Molaman robots of different models. All I could think was that we'd really kicked the hornet's nest. But thinking about our side's strength, I immediately gave the order. Sam, come protect us. Andrew, Sarah, and Winter, move in and wipe them out. Facing the forces in front of her, Sarah showed no fear at all. Instead, she looked extremely excited. Next moment, she charged straight in. Andrew also transformed into his giant bear form without hesitation. Winter, the twin wolf, let out an angry roar as well. In an instant, a twin wolf, a white bear, and a black shadow rushed into the Moleman army and plunged into the melee. With the 3 of them at tier 2, facing level 7 Molaman soldiers, it was complete domination. As Molaman fell one after another, experience gain notifications kept appearing. As for the 2 Molan robots, Sarah blew them apart with a double critical hit from Mercy Killing. An infinitely self-healing phantom assassin was simply unbeatable. By the time the battle ended, my experience had reached level 5, 86%. Liu Muxue was visibly excited, as she also reached level 5. The 2 of us now held the top 2 spots on the leaderboard. As for third place, Zhou Bo was only level 4, 43%. At that moment, the chat channel in District 174 blew up again. Boss Cao Xing is terrifying. He levels up like he's on steroids. At the same time, some people were discussing who Liu Muxue was. After talking it over, they remembered that before the transmigration, a fashion magazine in Xiangjiang City had once listed the top 10 goddesses. One of them was named Liu Muxue. Meanwhile, Fang Long's face turned grim. He had been planning to catch up to me today, but now, it looked like the gap was only getting wider. And if I kept up this momentum and took first place in the level rankings, then got that leader-class creature summoning voucher, he would be even less of a match for me. Realizing things couldn't keep going like this, Fang Long messaged one of his men again to ask how the search for my camp's coordinates was going. The other man replied, no one could go too far from camp right now, so camps that were too far away were almost impossible to check. Fang Long cursed, useless, and hung up. He also knew that at this stage, finding someone's camp coordinates was extremely difficult unless the other person revealed them on their own. But then something suddenly occurred to him. I remember Liu Muxue seems to be staying with that guy, and Liu Muxue's family contacted me yesterday. Maybe I can use her family to find their camp coordinates. The more Fang Long thought about it, the more likely it seemed to work. Apparently, Liu Muxue had been controlled by her family since she was little and had to report her every move. She also listened to her parents. And her father, Liu Zhenjie, was the kind of man who cared only about profit. A few more pieces of food would be enough to buy him off. At that thought, Fang Long smiled sinisterly. He opened his friends list and called Liu Zhenjie. Back in the mine, the battle was already over. Just then, Liu Mushui suddenly received a video call request. Seeing it was from her father, Liu Mushui looked at me and asked softly, Cao Xing, my dad is calling again. His message says it's urgent. Should I answer? She trusted me far more than her own family. I thought for a moment and said, answer it. Let's see what he wants. Talk to him like I'm not here with you. Liu Mushui nodded, then answered the call. At that moment, Liu Zhenjie looked at the video feed and said excitedly, Mushui, you finally answered. You silly girl. We've sent you so many messages, but you never replied. What are you trying to do? Hearing that her family still wanted to control her, Liu Mushui's expression instantly turned cold. If you need something from me, just say it. Hearing Liu Mushui's tone, Liu Zhenjie realized something was wrong and forced down his anger. Then he put on a smile and said, it's nothing much. I just wanted to ask how you're doing over there. And where exactly is your camp? Your mother and I have been thinking things over these past 2 days, and we feel really guilty. I know we were way too hard on you before. So once the novice protection period ends, we want to bring your 2 younger brothers over to see you. Liu Zhenjie sounded deeply sincere. He seemed genuinely remorseful. But Liu Mushui was smart, and she immediately sensed something was wrong. She turned off the video and audio, then turned around and asked, Cao Xing, something feels off about my dad suddenly asking for my coordinates. Knowing their personalities, there's no way they would suddenly feel guilty toward me. I thought about the current stage. Survivors could barely even make it 10 kilometers outside their camps. He definitely wouldn't be thinking about searching for other survivors' bases. And knowing how afraid of death Liu Mushui's father and mother were, he definitely wouldn't take that risk. That meant someone else had gotten Liu Zhenjie to ask. Were they trying to use Liu Mushui's family to get my camp coordinates? Those guys were actually pretty clever. As for who was behind it, I had a pretty good idea. It could only be those people on the rankings who wanted to compete with me for first place. Fang Long was the most suspicious of them all. After all, I had clashed with him before. An intrigued smile tugged at the corner of my mouth as I said, Liu Mushui, give him these coordinates. Then I told her the coordinates of that large ranger settlement. They were planning a terrifying massacre after all. If Fang Long didn't go, fine. But if he did, he would be in for a rough time. After that little incident, I walked over to the 2 robots that had been blown apart. The 2 machines were a bucket robot and a tracked robot. Both robots could be repaired. I tapped repair, and the 2 robots stood up again and said, Master, please give us your orders. These robots all had strength comparable to elite monsters of the same tier. Combined with my talent, it was practically a complete upgrade. This round had boosted our combat power quite a bit. Then I had the others search the mine thoroughly. In the end, we got over 1,000 pieces of ordinary iron ore and several hundred pieces of special ore. It was an incredible haul. As we kept moving deeper into the mine, before long, a light actually appeared up ahead. Looking through the light, we realized this was another mine entrance. Sam said he had found a lot of wheel tracks at the mine entrance. Those mole people may have used this passage to transport the mined ore away. I knew we probably couldn't catch up, so I told the others to head back for now. This haul was already more than enough. But while I was on my way back to camp, Sarah, who had been scouting the area, suddenly appeared. My lord, there's a battle up ahead. A group of rangers is attacking an icefield mammoth. The druid beside me asked in confusion. Icefield mammoths are powerful creatures that live in herds. With the hunter's strength, how could they possibly handle such a powerful creature? Sarah shook her head. It's a young mammoth that got separated from its herd. But it fell into the hunter's trap. Hearing this, anger flashed in the druid's eyes. Those damn hunters. Destroying the city defenses wasn't enough for them. Now they've set their claws on the sacred mammoth. These destroyers of nature must be punished. Please, my lord, help that poor mammoth. I only said we should go over and check the hunter's strength first. Then we arrived above a rift in the canyon. Several 100-meter-long giant trees stretched across the canyon. Their trunks served as bridges, but one of the giant tree bridges had snapped. It looked like some creature had fallen down. Below the canyon, a mammoth with an injured leg and chains wrapped around its body was being tightly restrained by a dozen hunters. I glanced at the mammoth stats. Level 20, Tier 2 boss creature. At full health, its HP reached an astonishing 15,000. It also had all kinds of skills, making it truly terrifying. This mammoth was in terrible shape now. After the fall and the attack, its HP had already dropped below 2,000. As for those hunters, there was one level 15 elite hunter, 5 Tier 2 hunters above level 10, and the rest were all below level 10. That level of strength wasn't even worth my attention. I immediately ordered everyone to move out. Kill every hunter down there. Seeing more powerful fighters appear, the lone elite hunter's face filled with shock. The next moment, he suddenly felt a chill on the back of his neck. Sarah had somehow slipped behind him, and her shadow blade struck silently. A terrifying damage number of over 1,700 appeared instantly. The elite hunter immediately drew in a sharp breath. He had just tried to run, but any enemy Sarah had locked onto had no chance of escaping. Meanwhile, Andrew and Assam sent the ordinary hunters flying one by one. The battle ended quickly. I had Assam and the others clean up the battlefield at once. Andrew came with me. Then we came to the icefield mammoth. The mammoth's condition was grim. With negative statuses constantly draining its health, it was already on the verge of death. Andrew stepped forward with pity in his eyes and gently stroked the mammoth's head. Then he looked at me as if asking for help. You have any way to save this mammoth? I tried casting ice healing, but the system said healing skills couldn't be used on non-allied units. I frowned and shook my head. My power only works on my own subjects. I can't use it to save the mammoth. Hearing that, a flash of despair crossed Andrew's eyes. Damage numbers were still rising from the mammoth on the ground. Its health was already about to drop below 1,000. Just then, I remembered something. When I killed that giant spider earlier, the system gave me a pet contract. I wasn't sure if it would work on a creature as powerful as a mammoth. As long as the mammoth became an allied creature, I should be able to heal it, right? So I asked Andrew if he could talk to it. Andrew said he could handle some simple communication. Then ask if it's willing to become my pet and sign a pet contract with me. Only after it becomes my pet can I help it. Andrew paused for a moment. Mammoths are powerful, and they're proud. Very few warriors can tame creatures like them. To keep it alive, Andrew had no choice but to try to persuade it. Andrew placed his bare paw on the mammoth and made a series of strange sounds. The mammoth struggled to move its eyes, looking at me and then at Andrew. After hesitating, it finally let out a low whimper. Andrew immediately said with delight, "My lord, this mammoth has agreed to become your pet. Please take it under your command now and heal it." My eyes lit up in surprise. A boss-level creature, and a young one at that. Its potential was obvious. Then I took out the pet contract scroll. Normally, this contract scroll had a very low success rate. But since the mammoth had already agreed, it wouldn't resist. So the success rate was now 100%. Then the scroll disappeared as it was used, turning into a ball of white light. It struck the mammoth. At the same time, the mammoth seemed to sense something. Some kind of connection seemed to form between its mind and mine. System notification. Contract successful. Icefield mammoth has become your pet. Population +5. All I could say was, seriously? It actually takes up 5 population slots. Considering how strong it was, I accepted it. On top of that, pets could be named. I named it Dabai. After that, I had Lu Mushui cast a few more purification spells. She cleared all the negative statuses. I also cast ice healing on Dabai and started healing it. After that, we just had to wait for Dabai's health to recover. Before long, the Icefield Mammoth's health had recovered to over 10,000. However, when its health reached 12,000, it stopped going up. Because it was in a severe fracture state, its maximum health was reduced by 20%. In this state, Dabai could barely stand, but it couldn't walk. I asked Andrew to help Dabai recover. Andrew nodded and walked up behind Dabai. He lifted Dabai's thick elephant leg. Then he said soothingly, "Just bear with it for a second." As soon as he said that, he gave it a sudden twist. There was a sharp crack as the bones snapped back into place. Dabai let out a painful scream. Damage number of 2,724 floated up from him. As ice therapy kept healing him, Dabai's HP started going back up again. It kept rising until he was fully recovered. With that, the mammoth raised his trunk and let out a powerful roar. Then he immediately lowered his head. He walked over to me and gently rubbed against me with his trunk. At the same time, the system notified me that because I had treated my pet Dabai's loyalty had increased. Current loyalty, 90. Once loyalty reaches 100, you will fully earn this pet's trust. The mount function can then be unlocked. Meanwhile, Assam came back after scouting the surrounding terrain and reported he had checked both sides of the nearby canyon. It seemed he hadn't found anywhere the mammoth could climb up. The canyon was about 70 to 80 meters deep, and the terrain on both sides was pretty steep. A few large protruding rocks could be seen here and there. We could climb up easily, but Dabai was too big for that. I thought for a moment and said, "Head deeper into this canyon and see if there's another way up." At that point, there were still 2 hours until dark. Seeing that night was almost here, I had Sarah move out alone and scout ahead first. She would widen the search area. Half an hour later, Sarah came back and said, "There's a camp 1 kilometer ahead. A large number of rangers are gathered there. There are also 4 tier 2 fighters. And among the tier 2s, one aura feels especially strong. It's about as strong as the mammoth's aura." I weighed both sides' combat strength in my mind. In other words, there might be a level 20 boss creature there. On top of that, there were 3 or 4 elite rangers, making them roughly evenly matched with our side. But everyone on our side had unlimited healing, so we still had the edge. Sarah added another detail then. Beside that camp, I saw a staircase built from huge stones. We can climb up from there. Hearing that, I immediately announced, "Then what are we waiting for? Everyone, let's bring judgment down on these mad cultists." Meanwhile, the rangers patrolling the small base saw an armored knight riding 2 wolves, along with a druid running on all 4s, with 3 robots sprinting alongside them, charging straight toward them. After a moment of confusion, the rangers cried out, "Enemy attack! We're under attack!" Shouts rang out one after another. The Rangers were a notorious cult force on this continent, so almost everyone wanted them gone. Because of that, they saw every living thing as an enemy. In the chaos, a large number of Rangers rushed out of their tents with weapons in hand. Then I received a system notification. Special area discovered. Medium-sized Ranger camp. Black-robed priest of the Church of Light is stationed here. Extremely dangerous. Approach with caution. Black-robed priest must be the boss-level expert Sarah mentioned. But I didn't hesitate. I had Assam and the others keep charging forward. Against ordinary Rangers, Tier 2 fighters like Andrew could pretty much take them down with one punch each. And that was not even counting the burrowers. Robots were also smashing through everything in their path. Before long, the Rangers started showing signs of collapse. Just then, 4 Rangers in black cloaks with noticeably stronger auras rushed out. One Ranger wielding a flail said with a grim look, "I'll handle that giant bear. Pick your own targets. One each." Next moment, he suddenly sped up and charged straight at Andrew. At the same time, the other 3 cloaked Rangers took on Assam and the 2 burrower robots. Battle suddenly turned into a stalemate. Then I saw the Rangers' stats. They were all level 15, Tier 2 elite creatures. Cao Xing, should we go help? No, we still have a trump card we haven't used yet. Then I said to Dabai, go. Next second, a terrifying roar rang out. Dabai charged straight into the battlefield, instantly sending every Ranger in front of him flying. Just then, another dark figure shot out from the camp. He was even faster than Sarah. Then he appeared behind Dabai and slashed with a cold flash of light. The strike took nearly 1,000 HP from Dabai. Dabai cried out in pain and turned his head, swinging his trunk at him. The man dodged it with a quick sidestep. Only then did I clearly see what he looked like. He was a man in a long black robe and a mask. The enemy's panel identified him as a Ranger, black-robed priest, a level 20 Tier 2 boss creature. At the same time, the black-robed priest charged at Dabai again. With his agile movements, he actually kept Dabai firmly on the defensive. Liu Muxue said worriedly, "It looks like Dabai can't beat him." I told her not to worry. Dabai would have help soon. By then, Sarah had quietly taken care of all the enemies on her side. Then, at my command, Sarah went straight for the black-robed priest. A shadow blade swept through the air. The black-robed priest felt a chill down his back, and his expression changed completely. At the critical moment, he spun around at full speed. He thrust out his dagger, and the sound of metal clashing rang out. Seeing that Sarah seemed no weaker than him, the black-robed priest couldn't help shouting, "There's another expert?" Sarah said nothing and swung her dagger again. The 2 elite assassins instantly launched into a close-range fight. But because Sarah's stats were a good bit lower than the black-robed priest's, she was quickly pushed back. Before the black-robed priest could feel pleased, Dabai seized the chance from behind. With one swing of his trunk, he sent him flying. Meanwhile, with the tracked robots and bucket robots joining the fight, the 4 elite Rangers were quickly taken out. I immediately ordered Assam and the others to switch targets and help Sarah. On the other side, the black-robed priest's expression grew even darker. He was already struggling to deal with those 2 powerful creatures. Now several more strong opponents had rushed in. There was no way he could win. Damn it. Where did this group of experts come from? And how did they find my camp? He was already planning to run, but every time he tried, Sarah would stick to him again like a curse. She gave him no chance at all. On top of that, Dabai's powerful attacks kept coming one after another. In that moment of danger, he cursed, "I'll remember your faces. Once I get out of here, I'll report this to the leader." Across the entire Gale snowfield, we'll be hunted endlessly by our Church of Light. Crash! A round sphere suddenly appeared in his hand. He threw it to the ground, and smoke quickly billowed up. His figure vanished from the spot as well. When he reappeared, he had already put a great distance between himself and everyone else. Seeing this, I sneered. "You think I'll let prey that's already in my grasp fly away?" Then a long gun appeared in my hand. It was the Barrett. In an instant, a gunshot rang out. Damage number of 874 rose from the black-robed priest. The shot also triggered an armor-piercing effect. The fleeing Ranger boss suddenly froze. He struggled to turn around, looking at me in disbelief. Then he collapsed on the spot. System notification. Ranger successfully killed. Killed the black-robed priest by defeating a higher-level monster. Gained 4,800 experience points. Current level, 7. Loot obtained from killing the Ranger. Strong leader class soul. Blue gear. Silent blade. Cavern construction blueprint. Congratulations. You are the first survivor on the server to kill a leader class creature. First kill reward obtained. Frost Spear skill book. You destroyed a medium-sized Ranger camp. Reputation plus 200. Seeing this, all I could say was, wow, this is amazing. I first checked the purple soul in my inventory. Strong leader class soul. Can be used on an elite follower below tier 2. Gives them a high chance to evolve into a leader class creature. Success rate, 50% to 80%. A look of pure joy spread across my face. It could actually make an elite creature evolve into a leader class creature, going from elite to leader. Not only boost all attributes, but also let them learn a new skill. It was nothing short of a major upgrade. Looked around. Sam, Andrew, and Sarah all met the requirements. At the same time, territory members also sensed the amazing power within the soul. It could let them transform and advance to a higher level. A look of longing appeared in everyone's eyes. Even the usually aloof Sarah couldn't help looking at me. After thinking for a moment, I tossed the soul straight to Sarah. Sarah caught it in a daze and said in disbelief, "Are you sure you want to give this to me?" I nodded. At this stage, Sarah was the best choice for this soul. Once she became leader class, her already formidable combat power would increase dramatically. So I said, "Use it. I want you to become the strongest assassin and restore the glory of the Shadow Sanctuary." Sarah's breathing quickened. After taking the soul, she pressed it straight into her body. At the same time, the system prompt appeared. "Your generous gift has moved a territory member." Sarah's loyalty has increased. Current loyalty, 91. I was very satisfied with that. Loyalty of 91 was already close to the point of absolute devotion. When the time came, Sarah would even be willing to give her life for me. While waiting for Sarah's transformation, I checked the second purple item. It was the first kill reward granted by the system. Frost Shield Skill Book. Creates a frost shield around yourself or an allied unit. Reduces damage taken by 20%. Every second, it releases frost breath at nearby enemy units. Deals ice damage based on spirit. And reduces their movement speed and attack speed by 20%. The shield lasts 60 seconds and can be toggled on or off. My heart jolted again. This was actually a powerful skill that combined damage reduction, damage, and crowd control. I immediately clicked to learn it. Then, I cast the skill on myself. The system prompt appeared right away. Talent Eternal Power has taken effect. This skill is now permanent. At the same time, Sarah had finished her transformation too. System. Your territory member Sarah has completed her transformation. She has advanced into a boss class creature. All attributes increased by 30%. New skill learned. Lightless Flash. Lightless Flash. Rush forward a short distance at incredible speed. Deals 110% slashing damage to enemies along the way. I nodded with satisfaction. Then I announced, search through all the supplies in this camp. Then get ready to head back. During the search, we found plenty of coins, grain, and even liquor. Then we arrived at the last room in the camp. It was also where that black-robed priest had rushed out from earlier. When I went inside, a stove was burning in the wooden cabin. Beside it was a small wooden table with a yellowed parchment map on top. I picked it up. System. Gale's snowfield map obtained. When I spread the map open, all kinds of markings appeared on it. There were rivers, mountains, beasts, and towns. In the upper left corner of the map was the symbol for a large town. Words Doron Lake City were written above it. I was startled. So Doron Lake City was there. Only then did I realize that Doron Lake City and my current location were more than 1,000 kilometers apart. Looks like I would not be finishing that delivery quest anytime soon. Besides those icons, there were also sun symbols all over the map. One of them happened to be right where we were. I wondered if these were all the locations of the Rangers' camps. If so, this map had basically marked out every Ranger stronghold across the entire Gale snowfield. I immediately understood how important this map was. From the previous battle, it was clear that destroying these Ranger camps would not only grant rewards, but also reputation points. Knowing these locations was basically like having access to a huge pile of benefits, and I happened to have a tavern blueprint on hand. Once the tavern was built, if I wanted to attract powerful followers, I would need a high enough reputation. When my reputation ran low, I could just clear a few Ranger camps for a boost. Just then, Liu Mushui found another treasure chest in the corner. After opening it, we found all kinds of food, and a basic watchtower construction blueprint, a skill book, Blessing of Courage, and a black diamond. I checked the skill book's stats. Skill book, Blessing of Courage. Gathers the power of the Aurora, increasing the spirit of friendly creatures within a certain range. It also increases physical and magic attack to 1.5 times their normal value. The effect lasts for 90 seconds. I was shocked. Wasn't this one of the Aurora Knight's best early support skills? Liu Mushui's spirit wasn't very high right now, so the attack boost wasn't as powerful as I expected. But once she gained a few more levels and raised her spirit, a single blessing could make everyone's attack power skyrocket. So I handed the skill book straight to Liu Mushui and had her learn it. As for the black diamond, it was a special material. Socketing it into equipment would add 20 charm. The system also noted that black diamonds were extremely rare and very popular among nobles. Any black diamond would set off a bidding frenzy. It could sell for an extremely high price at auction. My eyes lit up. This was good stuff. Then I put the black diamond back into my bag. With that, everything in the camp had been looted. It was a huge haul. Then I led everyone out of the camp and prepared to return to town along the gentle slope on one side. On the way back, snow actually started falling from the sky. Everything ahead turned into a vast white blur. Luckily, the system had a built-in minimap. It led everyone safely back to where our camp was. From far outside the camp, we could already see Large bonfire blazing brightly. Snowflakes drifting near the bonfire quickly melted from the heat of the flames. Compared to the endless white outside, the camp felt like its own separate world in the ice and snow. Yu Mushui said, Cao Xing, our territory has grown quite a bit again, and it looks like there are a lot more buildings too. She looked a little excited. After all, this was the territory that belonged to the two of us. I nodded. I could tell the territory had expanded by a lot. In other words, during this time, Zhuang and the others had upgraded the campfire by at least 2 levels. On top of that, many small shelters had been added to the territory. Blacksmith shop and dining hall had also been built. After returning to camp, I first asked Zhuang, did anything happen while I was gone? Zhuang said everything was normal. Aside from a few frost goblins trying to attack them around noon, Elena and the powerful elemental arrow tower shot them down. Besides that, those goblins had dropped a few items. As he spoke, he handed me a few stones. I took them and saw they were actually 4 frost crystals. Frost crystals were stones dropped by certain ice element monsters. They held a strong icy aura. They could be used to build certain special structures or forge ice-type equipment. You could say they had a lot of uses. I put them away, satisfied. There was still some time before it got completely dark. I planned to use that time to build a shelter for the mammoth too. The robots also needed a place to get out of the wind and snow. Then I took out the medium shelter blueprint and clicked Learn right away. Then I gave the order. Have Zhuang take 3 people. Build 2 medium shelters before dark. I still had 2 blueprints on hand. A tavern and a basic watchtower. After the tavern was built, once our reputation reached a certain level, it would attract special heroes to the territory. But it required both a tavern keeper and a bartender. As for the basic watchtower blueprint, it could be used to build a watchtower in the territory. It would help keep watch over the area around the territory. Units with ranged attacks could attack from the watchtower. I didn't have any ranged troops right now, so there was no rush to build it. Then I had Wu Zhuang lead some people to upgrade all the small shelters in the territory into medium shelters. It didn't matter if they couldn't finish today. They could continue tomorrow. Qi Zhuang, Ba Zhuang. Starting tomorrow, keep building elemental arrow towers. Try to build 2 per day. After arranging everything, I checked the territory bonfire's attributes again. Large bonfire, level 7. Could raise the temperature by 10 to 20 degrees Celsius within a 300-meter radius. I thought it over. After the bonfire reached level 5, each upgrade increased its heating range by 100 meters. Once it reached level 11, it would become a furnace. Its heating range would get another major boost. With that in mind, I called over Cao Yi's group of humans as well. Then I assigned them all tasks. They were to upgrade the camp bonfire and build 2 basic watchtowers. The tavern was also put under construction. After that, I gave Molly all the food and seasonings we had gathered this time. Then I said, go on. Huh? Use these seasonings to make everyone a good meal tonight. Molly's eyes lit up at the sight of all the precious ingredients in front of her. After nodding respectfully, she immediately carried the bottles and jars into the dining hall as if they were treasures. For a while, everyone got busy. Then only Xia Yani, Tong Chuchu, and Elena were left in the area. Xia Yani asked a little nervously, is there anything you need us to do? I looked at the thin clothes they were wearing. So I took a whole bear hide I had gathered out of my backpack and asked, is this bear hide enough for you to make 2 sets of clothes? Xia Yani nodded gently. I smiled and handed her the bear hide. Then use this bear hide to make clothes for you and Chuchu. It's going to get colder tonight. Don't freeze. Hearing that, Xia Yani froze in place. She had thought I wanted her to sew something else, like a blanket, a coat, or something like that. Instead, I was asking her to make clothes for herself and her daughter. Tears welled up in Xia Yani's eyes. Ever since she came to this world, she had been living in constant fear. The cold and hunger had been wearing down her spirit. She had not even had time to grieve for her loved one. She had thought she and her daughter would freeze to death in this snowfield. Then she met me. Not only had I given her a warm place to stay and delicious food, but now I was also giving her clothes to keep out the cold. While she was deeply moved, she composed herself and sincerely thanked me. I told the 2 of them to head back inside and stay warm. Before long, night arrived. After Molly and the others finished making dinner, the residents gathered in the dining hall and began enjoying today's meal. It was one of the few big meals they had ever had in their lives. There was bread, cheese, milk, and even meat. As everyone wolfed down the food, their loyalty to me also rose sharply. After I ate my fill, I opened the world channel to see how the other survivors were doing. I saw that quite a few people had already adapted to the new world. They were looking for trades in the chat channel and discussing survival strategies. But what they talked about most was how hard it was to level up. They really wondered how the people on the leaderboard were leveling up. Then someone brought up how fierce boss Cao Xing really was. He had reached level 7 in just one day. This time, first place felt like it had to belong to Cao Xing. Many players agreed, but someone named Fu Yue mocked him. Levels are getting harder and harder to gain, and the monsters are getting stronger too. Who knows if that Cao Xing might run into trouble halfway? Then all his effort would be for nothing. Seeing someone from the 3 Heroes Guild making snide comments, Another player, Ji Xin Yue, immediately fired back. The Three Heroes Guild can't compete. So you come to the chat channel to curse other people. Aren't you embarrassed? The Three Heroes Guild sure talks a big game. Aside from Fang Long, not a single one of you made the top 10. What a joke. Boss Cao Xing was right to call you the Three Birds Guild. You're nothing but a bunch of rabble. Are you guys trying to get yourselves killed? Newbie protection period ends in 2 days. Are you sure you want to go against us? At that, everyone else laughed. They had all been transported here, and the old order had already collapsed. In this world, whoever was stronger called the shots. By developing their territories, they could gain powerful strength of their own. Did the few hundred people in the Three Heroes Guild really think they could take on everyone in District 174? After that, they roasted Fu Yue so hard she couldn't even send another message. At that moment, Fang Long also noticed what was happening in the chat channel. He realized the Three Heroes Guild wasn't nearly as intimidating as it used to be. His gaze slowly turned ice cold. He also knew this had all started because of Cao Xing. Only by getting rid of Cao Xing could the Three Heroes Guild restore its intimidation factor. Then a player named Ji Jun sent Fang Long a message. He said that around the coordinates Fang Long had given him, he had contacted every brother he could reach. All told, there were about 30 people. That would be more than enough to deal with one Cao Xing. Fang Long nodded and added, "This Cao Xing made it to level 7, so he must have some real skill. To be safe, keep gathering more brothers tomorrow. Once we have around 50 people, we'll make our move. Also, it's still the newbie protection period right now. You can't enter other people's territories. Observe first. Wait until that Cao Xing leaves his territory, and all of you strike at once and try to finish him off in one go. Understood?" After making the arrangements, a vicious smile appeared at the corner of Fang Long's mouth. "Cao Xing, enjoy acting arrogant for one more day. After tomorrow, I'll make you understand the consequences of offending the Three Heroes Guild." At the time, I had no idea Fang Long had already taken action, and he was getting ready to head to those coordinates to deal with me. If I had known, I would have laughed right then and there, because no matter how many people they sent, going to that place meant certain death. Meanwhile, as I was browsing the regional channel, I received a private message. It was from a survivor named Ding Liang. "Hello, Boss Cao Xing. You have a mechanic skill book. You're looking to trade it for another class's skill book, right?" I paused, then remembered. Before setting out, I had listed a mechanic skill book on the market. That's right. I need a Knight or Frost Mage skill book. Do you have one? I do. I have a Frost Mage skill book here. Take a look. Skill book. Summon Frost Spirits. Summons 2 Frost Spirits that inherit 80% of the survivor's attributes to help in battle. Frost Spirits have the skills Frost Shell and Ice Sword. When I saw it was actually a summoning spell skill, I was instantly tempted. Paired with my Magic Pearl Staff, this skill would let me summon 7 creatures at once to help in battle. All I could say was, it was incredibly strong. So I nodded and traded him that Mark Robot skill book. Seeing it go so smoothly, Ding Liang's nervousness instantly faded. He hadn't expected someone as well known as me to be so easy to talk to. Then I remembered I still had some blue bear meat left, which was perfect for trading right now. So I asked in the chat channel if anyone had blueprints. Anyone with skill books, equipment, or anything like that could come to me. Supplies were limited, first come, first served. In an instant, quite a few people were interested. I immediately received a flood of private messages. After a quick look, I found quite a few interesting blueprints and skill books. What caught my attention most was a blueprint for a Frost Archer barracks, which could be used to build a training camp in the territory. It could train ordinary residents with no class into combat-ready Frost Archers. That would be very useful to me. Once I had it, I could train residents like Cao Yi and Cao into archers. Then I could have them stand guard on the watchtowers. It could also be sent out to fight. But building a training camp required a Frost Archer training manual. That item only had a chance to drop from monsters killed in the wild. I didn't have one yet. Still, I planned to trade for all these blueprints first. After getting 4 or 5 blueprints, I also bought Liu Mushui a skill book. Shield counter was one of the must-learn early skills for knights. The next day arrived. Residents were already waiting outside the Lord's cottage. When Liu Mushui and I walked out, they immediately greeted us respectfully. "Mighty Lord, Lady of the Territory. May you be healthy and beautiful, Lady of the Territory. May your beauty last forever." When Liu Mushui heard the residents start calling her Lady of the Territory, her face instantly flushed with embarrassment, but she did not deny it. I told Dazhuang to lay down the tracks and mine carts I had obtained. They were to connect to the coal mine we had found. That would speed up the mining process. Dazhuang nodded and said that with the tracks, they would only need 2 days to mine out the entire coal deposit. Next was Cao Yi. I put him in charge of smelting the ore I had obtained. Of course, refining a high-grade material like mithril required upgrading the ore processing plant to level 3. So for now, we could only process iron or copper ore. Just then, Elena walked over and said, "Yesterday, several frost goblins came to attack the territory. After they were killed by the arrow towers, I followed their footprints and searched the area. 2 kilometers from the territory, I discovered a mine shaft. It seemed to be occupied by a large group of frost goblins. As for their strength, they were all Tier 1 or Tier 2 creatures, a little stronger than me. Elena had stayed back at home during this time and gained 2 levels. She was now level 7, so those goblins were probably around level 8 or 9. They weren't a threat to me. After thinking it over, I took a bright red crystal from my backpack and tossed it straight to Elena. Elena caught it with both hands and looked at me in confusion. The basic Heart of Strength, I promised you. Once you reach level 10, you can use it to advance into a Tier 2 creature. When Elena heard that, her shoulders trembled. I had indeed said that. She just hadn't expected me to actually remember it. For a moment, there seemed to be a hint of fiery emotion in her eyes, unlike a cold-blooded creature. Thank you, my honored lord. Elena of the Snake Folk is willing to give everything for you. Then the system notified me that Elena's loyalty had increased. Her loyalty rose from 85 to 95. Seeing the alluring smile in Elena's eyes, I thought about how the higher their loyalty was, the more the territory's residents trusted their lord. Once it reached the maximum, it would value the lord's orders more than their own lives. And for some special creatures, that loyalty could even turn into a special kind of affection. So, could Elena have fallen for me? A shiver ran through me, so I had Elena lead the way. First, we would clear out that goblin cave. When we reached the cave, clearing out the goblins was almost ridiculously easy. The loot was good. Aside from a few pieces of ice crystal stone, there was also an Ascalon Archer recruitment scroll, as well as a dim elite soul and other materials. At the same time, the system notified me that an unclaimed medium copper mine had been discovered and asked whether to occupy it. After I chose yes, I also received a bronze treasure chest. When I opened it, aside from common resources, there was also an Ice Archer training manual. I hadn't expected a training manual to show up so soon after I started wanting one. Overjoyed, I called everyone else and headed back to the territory. Not long after we returned, I saw a group of figures appear in the snow ahead of the territory. My gaze sharpened at once. In this snowfield, even ordinary people had trouble walking. For such a large group to suddenly appear was clearly abnormal. I immediately ordered everyone to stay on alert. In an instant, every recruited creature in the territory drew their weapons. They stood ready for battle. Sarah also went into stealth. Residents working outside ran back into the territory right away. Those figures also seemed to be heading toward my camp. When they got closer, I realized it looked like a caravan. A group of people escorted 5 carriages, making an impressive sight. Each carriage was marked with the image of a black lion. My lord, that looks like a convoy from the Black Lion Merchant Guild. The Black Lion Merchant Guild is one of the 3 strongest merchant guilds on the Western continent. They say the guild does every kind of business, with trade spread all across the continent. I relaxed a little. If they were merchants, then there was no need to be so tense. But among the convoy's guards, I noticed there were actually several tall figures, humanoid creatures with cat-like heads. Sam continued explaining. They are the GR clan, a race born for battle. They often take on mercenary work as well. As for me, I sensed a powerful threat from the 2 of them. Check the panel. Sure enough, both of them were level 25, Tier 3 elite creatures. Several Tier 3 elites, plus a group of guards at least Tier 2 or higher. No wonder this caravan dared to do business on the dangerous Gale snowfield. The more dangerous the environment, the higher the profit. As long as they could cross the harsh environment and reach certain towns, they could sell their goods for several times, even dozens of times, their cost. Just then, a short merchant stepped down from a carriage, came up to my territory, and exclaimed, "Territory that appeared out of nowhere, and a campfire that never goes out as long as it has fuel. Could you be a chosen lord, selected by the will of the world, and summoned here from another world?" He looked at me excitedly. He instinctively tried to come over and shake my hand, but when he reached the edge of the territory, he was stopped outside by an invisible wall of air. A look of shock appeared in the merchant's eyes. There is a force stopping me from entering this place. It really is a chosen territory. My heavens. Then he looked at me and gave a proper salute. "Chosen Lord, Hilton of the Black Lion Merchant Guild greets you." I nodded. "Lord Cao Xing greets you, Sir Hilton." Then I checked Hilton's attributes and found that he was only level 6. He had a long list of life skills, such as negotiation, bargaining, danger sense, and even money instinct. No wonder this guy could lead a caravan like this across the snowfield. I asked Hilton, "Sir, what brings you to my territory?" "Lord Cao Xing, pardon the intrusion. The Black Lion Merchant Guild travel all across the continent and also trade with certain lords and nobles. After seeing your territory, we wanted to come over and take a look. Would you be interested in trading supplies with our Black Lion Merchant Guild? If you have anything valuable, or items that are hard to price, you can sell them to us, and I'll buy them at a fair price. Likewise, you can take a look at our caravan's goods and see if anything catches your eye." Then a system prompt appeared. "Hilton of the Black Lion Merchant Guild has opened his goods list to you. Accept?" After I clicked confirm, a dazzling array of items appeared before me. There were blue keys, purple materials, and purple equipment. There was even a golden shield called the Paladin's Shield. Seeing that, my breathing quickened a little. In this world, materials and equipment are both divided by grade. White is common, green is fine, blue is excellent, and purple is rare. Gold is treasure grade. And gold items usually have unique functions and exceptional value. At this stage, most survivors were still fighting with basic white weapons. But now, a piece of gold equipment was sitting right in front of me. You can imagine how valuable it was. The price of this gold equipment was outrageous too. It was listed at 900,000 crowns. Merchant Hilton smiled and said, "Lord Cao Xing, what do you think? Did anything catch your eye?" I sighed. Something did, but I can't afford it. Right now, my entire fortune is only a little over 10,000 crowns. And I only got that after taking down 2 ranger camps. Hilton smiled, not bothered at all. No matter. Lord Cao Xing, you can check whether you have anything special. If you're unsure of the price, you can let me take a look. If it's suitable, we'll buy it. I thought for a moment. Then I took out the viscous liquid I'd obtained from killing the Molaman. Hilton examined it and said, "This is a lubricating material. After processing, it can be made into high-quality machine oil. If we buy it, how about 50 crowns per glob?" I nodded and sold all 364 portions of slime. I received 18,200 coins. At that point, my coin total reached more than 30,000. That counted as a pretty large sum. Just then, I remembered there was one more thing I could sell. Black diamond I'd found in the ranger camp. The system had said that black diamond was extremely valuable, but I wasn't sure exactly how much it was worth, so I cautiously took it out. In an instant, the black diamond in my hand refracted a beautiful rainbow glow. But before I could even speak, Hilton's eyes widened as he cried out, "It's a black diamond! You might not even find one black diamond in 10 goldstone veins." At that moment, even the guards beside Hilton looked shocked. Some of the guards even had greed in their eyes. Assam noticed their looks and instantly drew his sword, standing guard at my side. Andrew also got ready for battle. Our reaction made all those guards draw their weapons too. In an instant, both sides were on the verge of a fight. Hilton realized what was going on. "What are you doing? Who gave you permission to point your weapons at the Honorable Lord Cao Xing? Put your weapons down. Lower them. Put them down. Now. All of you. Kneel down and apologize to this lord. Right now. If any of you ruin this deal for me, I'll report you to the Frost Mercenary Corps and have every last one of you fired." Hearing that, the mercenaries' faces changed at once. They immediately put away their weapons, then knelt on one knee in the snow and begged forgiveness. I waved it off and didn't take it to heart. At the same time, I had my men put their weapons away. Seeing this, Hilton breathed a sigh of relief. He had really been afraid I would refuse to do business with him because of what those guards did. After all, he knew better than anyone just how valuable this black diamond was. Then Hilton asked carefully, "Honorable Chosen Lord, would you be willing to sell the black diamond in your hand to our Black Lion Chamber of Commerce?" I looked at the black diamond in my hand, thinking it over. Judging by their reaction, this black diamond had to be extremely valuable. It was definitely worth more than a piece of purple equipment. As for whether it could compare to gold equipment, that was hard to say. So I asked, "Mr. Hilton, what price are you prepared to offer?" Hilton immediately fell into thought. Following a merchant's instincts, he would normally use his polished way with words. At a time like this, downplay the black diamond's value, then bargain hard, buying it at an extremely low price to maximize his profit. But my status as a chosen lord, and the fact that this was our first deal, and I had brought out something as precious as a black diamond, made Hilton see me as a lord with great potential. If he left a good impression, there might be another chance to work together. So Hilton said, "Ordinary black diamonds usually sell for between 200,000 and 400,000 crowns. A high-quality black diamond can sell for 500,000 crowns. Hearing that, a hint of joy had already appeared at the corner of my mouth. 500,000 crowns was already more than the price of a piece of purple equipment. Hilton's next words surprised me even more. The top-grade black diamond, like the one in your hand, is worth 950,000 crowns. What do you think? My eyes lit up. That price was even higher than the golden shields. After thinking it over, I said, "How about this? I want that golden shield, plus 50,000 crowns. That comes to exactly 1 million. When Hilton heard me raise the price by another 50,000, he thought for a moment, then nodded. "Deal, let's trade." Hilton gestured to the mercenaries behind him. 2 mercenaries came over, each carrying a large black chest. Then they opened the chests right in front of me. One chest held that very shield. The other was packed full of crowns. Hilton praised me, saying, "Lord Cao Xing, you really have a good eye. I found this shield in an ancient tribe." Its craftsmanship even amazed Tadak, the master dwarven blacksmith. He even said it might be the last shield of its kind in the world. I nodded, but I did not take it seriously. Merchants always like to hype up their goods, to make them seem more valuable. So I went ahead with the exchange. When the deal was complete, both sides looked pleased. Then Hilton looked at me eagerly again and said, "Honored Chosen Lord, do you have any other special items?" "Not for now." "No problem, Lord Cao Xing. I will be coming to the Gale Snowfield often in the future. When that time comes, you can trade with me anytime." I smiled and nodded. Of course. I With that, I stepped out of my territory and shook Hilton's hand to show my sincerity. Hilton said, "A pleasure doing business." At the same time, he glanced at the territory behind me. Then his gaze settled on the half-built tavern. Hilton's eyes lit up, as if he had made some kind of decision. "Lord Cao Xing, I see your territory is already starting to take shape. Even the tavern is almost finished. Would you be willing to establish trade relations with our Black Lion Merchant Guild? In the future, when our Black Lion Merchant Guild travels through the Gale Snowfield, we will also come to your territory and use this place as a trading post. Of course, we will also pay a fee. And as our partner, you will also receive a 5% discount at the Black Lion Merchant Guild." System prompt. Your territory's prosperity has met the requirement. Hilton of the Black Lion Merchant Guild requests to establish trade relations with your territory. Accept? These terms had no downside for me, so I nodded. "Sir Hilton, I would be happy to establish a partnership with the Black Lion Merchant Guild." Hilton immediately broke into a delighted smile. At the same time, the system notified me that my favorability with the Black Lion Merchant Guild had increased. Current favorability. Friendly. I added, "My territory is still under construction, so it will take some time to finish all the facilities." Hilton waved it off, saying it was fine and there was no rush. Just then, Hilton seemed to think of something else. "Lord Cao Xing, building up your territory will require more manpower. Would you be interested in recruiting a new group of residents?"